What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of the Tom Bilyeu Show Live. We're here in beautiful Toasty Warm, Texas. I'm joined by Drew. What's up, Drew?
Toasty Warm is a good way to put it.
Oh, we're hearing me all over the place. But we have Eric over here as well. All right, everybody. It is, man, there's just no dull days these days. It's a wild time in the world. Writing the deep dives is, it's distressing. But we're going to be covering Trump securing a peace deal in Gaza, which is very exciting, but there's no Nobel Prize. Drew, can you imagine?
The pen is still wet.
They're not going for it. They're not going for it. 8 wars is not enough, Drew. We need 9. The funny thing is watching everybody say, well, if he can finally do Russia, then we'll give it to him. Yeah. It's crazy. All right.
Moving the goalposts.
Speaking of crazy, Letitia James is indicted for mortgage fraud. Dems are crying foul. And to be honest, I'm for anybody crying foul on all of this. I think all of this, what they were doing to Trump was selective prosecution. What they're doing to Letitia James is selective prosecution. And the way that both sides keep doing this is going to go on forever. So who is going to break that cycle? In abused households, they always say you can continue the cycle or you can break the cycle. Someday, Lord knows, I hope that we get somebody that can actually break that cycle. Wouldn't it be nice? Representative Massey accused Kash Patel of burying what, Drew?
The Epstein Files.
The Epstein Files. The Epstein Files, everybody. He is saying, literally, Kash, you know you have it. He even reads a couple names off the list. He's like, I'm not playing. I'll just keep reading.
Kash going to start blinking.
I want to know who the magician is. I want to know. They said there was a magician.
Yeah, a high-ranking official, an athlete.
We got a lot of magicians right now with some titan sphincters. So
Chris Angel going to disappear.
Ooh, hey, how dare you insinuate? That's my boy. Please don't let it be him. Marjorie Taylor Greene is going against Republicans on healthcare. I'm so conflicted about this. America clearly wants healthcare. And at the same time, if you keep paying for things you can't afford, you make it worse for everybody. I ended my deep dive coming out on Monday, everybody. Make sure you check it out, about America's potential collapse. I ended the deep dive with basically what made America great is that we were the place that you came if you wanted a shot, not because you wanted to be carried. I don't think that's going to be popular, but that really is, I think, a big part of what we've lost is that spirit of like, yeah, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. That like sense of, hey, you rolled up on New York, that's on you. It's cold in the winter. It's hot in the summer. There's no AC, obviously back in the day. And so if you could really find a way to survive, it was life on hard mode, but you had a chance to like really crush it. And we've lost that spirit. That's the thing that I most lament. It'll be fun to talk to chat about that, guys. I want to hear what you think about that. If I'm out of step with you guys as well, just everybody. On this one, I am prepared to be on an island all by myself. I do not care. I think it's physics. All right, protesters are getting longer sentences in the UK than the man who assaulted a 14-year-old that they were protesting. This is getting wild. I really cannot believe what the UK is doing to itself. It's absolutely insane. This is what happens when people are not forcing themselves to articulate what their values actually are. Like if you force people to say, how can this be possible? How does this make sense to you? Why would you punish those people more? Like actually tell me the reason. If they say it out loud, it will sound so absurd that the whole house of cards will collapse. So we'll see what happens there. This one seems to be dividing the internet for reasons that I cannot internalize, but a woman live streamed her birth and the birth of her child. And some people are saying that this is just absolutely dystopian. I don't know if you guys know who Moist Critical is, but he had a whole diatribe about this is like super dystopian and he can't believe that this child, like the first thing that happens is it's a piece of content. And humans want content. We want to engage with this stuff. We have created a technology that lets us view into other people's lives, and we're here for it. We want to see it. I don't know why people consider that dystopian. So yeah, I cannot capture that. I'm sure people in the chat are going to feel some kind of way. I can't capture it. Whatever that vibe is that's got people freaking out over that one. Nope. I thought it was interesting. It is a fascinating thing to be invited in to see if people want to check it out. So, yeah, I got no beef with that one, but I'm sure we'll have some things to say. And then Hassan, if you guys know, he's been on the show Impact Theory. obviously massive streamer. So I assume, given that you guys are here for a live stream, you know all about him. He has gone viral, like really viral. He was mentioned on Gutfeld, like all over the place, for apparently using a shot collar on his dog. Shout out to Philip DeFranco, who actually reached out to him for comment. I was actually pretty impressed by that. So we'll go through some of the things that he said directly to Philip DeFranco to let him speak for himself. But it's pretty wild. The footage looks damning. I'm not going to lie. But we'll see. We'll see what he has to say. We'll see what you guys think on today's Friday live stream. Let's get into it. Drew, how you feeling about what's going on with peace in the Middle East? Do you think it's real?
I'm going to be honest. It seems like it is. And we've gotten statements from Netanyahu, from the Turkish government, endorsements from Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. So this is Abraham Accords Part 2. And Lawrence, the Fox and Friends dude that's filling in for the old dude that's sick. I don't know any of their names.
These are all specifics. I love it.
It was a black dude on Fox and Friends.
One dude who said something to another dude.
He was like, if you really think about it, if Trump probably would have won back to back, this could have happened a lot sooner, because people forget he did get the Abraham Accords done in his first 4 years. Then he leaves for 4 more years, comes back, and then in year 1 he gets this deal brokered. So
I'm telling you, Trump is my mom. Trump actually carries a wooden spoon and he whoops that ass. I say that tongue in cheek, but I am not at all kidding. If you don't carry a big stick, you don't get to speak softly. And we have somehow gotten confused in a modern world where we have all these conveniences and we think that peace is like a law of nature, and we do not understand that this is a game of power, always and forever. It always will be, and it always was. And once we lose sight of that, we get super confused as to why things are going wrong. We've got Biden in office, and Biden's such a sweet old man. Like, well, I don't understand what's going on. There's a Politburo going behind him that's essentially running the country. He's quite literally a senile old man who cannot wield the stick to save his life. So you've even got Democrats admitting Biden was never going to be able to do this. Okay, Democrats admitting Biden was never going to be able to do this. And look, Trump is not a perfect figure. Trump is a mess in a lot of ways, but you cannot deny that that guy says, if you do this, I'm going to drop very large bombs on you. And then you do it and he drops very large bombs on you. I get it. People are going to be riled up by that. But for me, it's like either you agree with the value system of the country that is the top dog. Right now it's America, obviously vying for position with China, or you don't. If you agree with that value set, then you have to understand the way that peace is kept in the world is not like slogan-y through strength, literally through strength. And so the fact that he's been able to get that region to come together, the fact that he had the fucking sense to go, we need to get, this can't be like an American thing where we come in and we take over, and for all of his like trolling in the beginning with the reposts of making it the Riviera of the Middle East, it's like he understood we've got to get all of the Arab nations as well as the Muslim majority nations on board so that these guys literally have nowhere to turn. And what's his face? Oh my God, the Secretary of State, whose name is escaping me, Rubio, thank you, said, look, one day the full story of this is going to be told. I want to hear that full story. Like, I want to know what are the threats that he made? What are the gives that he gave? Because that really is how this stuff gets done. You can't only have a carrot. You can't only have a stick. Like, you have to know how to do both. And so, I mean, we'll see. I think I'm going to be holding my breath until the hostages are actually returned. But his personality and the things that he's done the first time in office and now in office this time make the prediction that he would be able to negotiate this kind of thing well, because he isn't afraid to go, if you don't do it, he really will tear off the life out of you. He will drop bombs on you if he has to. It worked.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into some commentary right now. So this was his interview on Fox Friends. They kind of played the transcript of it. And this is what he said after the deal was made.
Trump talking about how the world has come together around this deal.
We had some tremendous help, as you know, with everybody from Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Marco, and we had everybody, JD, the whole group was just amazing, and the military was,
bless him for spreading the love around.
In getting this done. We have a great military with great leadership. The whole world came together, to be honest. So many countries that you wouldn't have even thought of it. They came together. together. The world has come together around this deal.
So the world.
And then later on, he talked about how he thinks the catalyst of did it was the tariffs because it opened up international conversations.
Said tariffs.
Listen, so he's given himself another weapon. This is what I'm saying. People really need to look at cause and effect. People need to think up from first principles of how the human mind works. And the reality is you have to find your point of leverage. This is one of the things that you're never going to be able to get you're never going to be able to get everyone to go into the gym. That would be utterly transformational for them. If they had to adjust their physique, they would come to believe in the ability of themselves to change, to get stronger. You're never going to be able to get everybody to run a company, though it would get them to understand the just incredibly difficult dynamics of making something profitable, of holding a group of people together. But one of the most important things you learn as an entrepreneur is sometimes you have leverage and sometimes you don't. And whenever you go into a negotiation, you can't be thinking, but I'm right. I'm the moral one in this discussion. It doesn't matter. You have to come in and say, where's my point of leverage? How am I going to be able to get this other person to agree to do the thing that I want them to do? And there are all kinds of things that you can leverage, including, do they like me? Is a way bigger factor than most people want to think. If they're hungry for money and I can help them out with money, if they have a debt problem, like one thing that we did at Quest was we looked for people, because we were always growing so fast, we looked for people that had space and they couldn't afford that space anymore. So they were like in dire straits. They were about to fold. And we said, look, we'll come in. We don't care about having our name on the door. We need the space. We need things that are health department approved, all that. So we would go in, find people that were in those tough spots, and then it was these wonderful symbiotic relationships where we stopped them from losing their lease, and then we were able to make sure that we had like top-notch health standards and all that, and didn't have to build it all from scratch in the early days when that would have been really, really difficult. And so find your point of leverage and play that point of leverage. And so he comes in, looks at the way that America is just sort of giving things to every country in the world, and is like, hold on a second, we've got no leverage just because we've been giving things away, giving things away, giving things away. I'm going to put these tariffs in place. They're dangerous, and I don't want to pretend that they're not, but I also am driven absolutely crazy when people don't recognize that they are effective for certain things. So it may be a caustic weapon that burns us as much as it's burning other people. And so you have to be very careful when you play it, how long you play it. But you've got grumblings coming out of China that Xi is losing power, possibly because of the tariffs. You've got a deal in Gaza, finally. Trump telling you part of what I used as leverage were the tariffs. All these other wars that I've ended, one of my primary weapons has been the tariffs. And so the point of leverage is that America is the first or second largest economy in the world. I think it's inarguably the largest from a purchasing perspective. And so everybody wants to sell here. So if you're like, oh, you want to sell here? Well, it'd be a real shame if something happened to your tariffs. It's like, yes, it is a strong arm tactic, but it also gives you leverage. And so getting people to understand whatever you're trying to pull off in your life, what is your leverage? Be honest about what your leverage is. And so often I see people go into a negotiation and they just think, but I'm right. And they think that being right is going to win the day, and it's not. You've got to find your leverage. You got to play it.
Yeah, and it seems like it's working out. Let's jump into the statement.
Made a big impact as well.
With what we've done in the United States, I think we top everybody by a lot with the tariffs and all of that. But, you know, having the ability to deal with trade, having the ability to use tariffs to help me make a point, the tariffs have brought peace to the world. I'm telling you, they brought peace to the world, and not only here, but with so many other deals.
Tomorrow I will convene.
And then this is Netanyahu's reaction to the peace deal. A great deal for Israel. Tomorrow I will convene the government to approve the agreement and bring all our I'm going to move these captions, all our bring hostages home. For those that don't remember, when we went through the extensive plan, it's a 72-hour window. So the deal was officially signed yesterday night. I know some people seen the reports that Israel fired on Gaza. So they literally attacked them in the morning, signed ceasefire deal in the afternoon or nighttime. But that starts the 72-hour window. So they're expecting the hostages to be released by Monday, Tuesday. And yet Netanyahu continues, I thank from the bottom of my heart President Trump and his team for their dedication for the sacred mission of freeing our hostages.
Yeah, so we'll see, obviously. Trump is saying that everybody is coming back on Monday. He said that very explicitly. At one point, he was saying Monday or Tuesday, but then, and what I believe is his most recent statement, he said Monday.
Copy.
We'll see. I think there's a wonderful British phrase that is perfect here, which is many a slip between cup and lip, meaning as you lift to take the drink, there's still many opportunities to spill on yourself. So there's plenty of opportunity for this to still go wrong, but I am certainly optimistic as of right now.
That answers your question, Keith Stofferson. He said, so there's no deal if the 72 hours pass. So that's the thing. The first step of the ceasefire is there will be no firing. You have 72 hours to bring the hostages home. Once they have the hostages, Israel will then move to the first boundary line, giving more real estate, I guess, to Gaza. Then there's another set of standards. They'll move to a second line. Then there's a final phase, and that's when Israel will give, I guess, Palestinians will then take over the complete control of Gaza, and they'll go outside that boundary.
Yeah, there's obviously stipulations on how they can govern, et cetera, what Hamas's role can be. The word on the street, as it were, the reason that people are optimistic that this is actually going to hold is that there's so much Arab and Muslim support for the deal, and that by getting even Qatar on board, it's left Hamas with nowhere to turn. So they don't have any allies anymore. So it's like... And then this is hearsay, but some of the hearsay out there was basically Trump went to Hamas and said, listen, here's how this is going to play out. You guys are either going to agree to this deal or I am going to completely unleash Netanyahu and let him do what he wants to do. I'm going to sell him all the weapons in the known universe and good luck.
Yeah.
And because Trump has backed up his threats historically, people are like, okay, maybe there really is no better play for us right now. Now let's focus our attention on getting people back out of Israel, because they're going to be releasing hundreds, from what I understand, hundreds of people that were serving life sentences. So this is exactly the kind of deal that they brokered to get Sinwar back. Sinwar was the architect of October 7th. So I'm sure it's not like they're like, oh my God, it's all over for us. They're thinking, all right, cool. We've played this as far as we can play it now. We don't have anybody left that's going to help us keep pushing this forward. So now our best play at this point, take the deal, regroup, find a way back in, and get all those people back out of prison and just start rebuilding, whether from Gaza or from somewhere else. And I mean, look, I know better than to believe that they're fatigued by the fighting, but I can always, fingers crossed, that they're also just like, okay, now's the time to regroup.
Yeah, after 2 years, after 75.
3, right? Didn't we just hit the 3rd year?
Oh, that was 3? I thought it was
2. Is it 2 or 3?
I think it was
Chat?
2. Somebody validate it. I think it was 2 year.
Maybe it is 2. Just feels like it's been going on for so long.
And devastation, 75% of Gaza is rubble now. So it's like at some point you got to kind of call a spade, you know, fold your hand, get another shuffle. So I think it's perfect timing for Hamas to realize, okay, we're not making as much impact. You know, we're getting a bunch of TikToks. Greta Thunberg is trying to come over here 18, 16 times.
Yo, I don't know about that. So here, this is where this gets interesting is
2 years.
Hamas was, thanks, chat. Hamas was clearly winning the PR battle. The world is turning against Israel in a major way. Obviously, even Charlie Kirk was like, his final tweet, whether it was meant as blowing off steam or to be like the real edict, but saying like, I'm backing out of the pro-Israel camp. So it's like, from Hamas's perspective, there must have been a tremendous amount of pressure on them. They must have felt completely isolated for them to agree to back out, because they really were making an incredible amount of progress in terms of isolating Israel. So I don't know about that. I doubt they were like, well, we're really not getting anything more. I think they're still getting a lot. Like it stopping now is probably more protective of Israel than it is of Hamas, for sure. Gaza, maybe not. Yeah. Gaza as like a physical location obviously was getting pummeled. But I mean, just absolutely bananas.
Yeah. And then you talked about it in the intro, but the calls for the Nobel Peace Prize are back. They started after Trump ended the Pakistan-India weekend war. So now with this, the Prime Minister of Israel tweeted, give Donald Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. He deserves it. And Fox News talked to a former U.S. ambassador to Israel, and he echoes that sentiment.
Peace Prize to President Trump. He has certainly nominated him for that. Do you think that the Nobel Committee would award the prize to President Trump?
I think he deserves far better. I've been impressed with the
I love how good his audio
candidates
is.
in the past who've won this award. President Obama won it. I didn't think he deserved it. Yasser Arafat, for God's sake, got a Nobel Prize 20-something years ago. So not
Yasser
impressed with
Arafat,
with the award or if the president wants it.
Also, I just think it's, I don't want to say hilarious because it's not funny, but Tel Aviv, Israel, hostage square. It's like if you have a hostage square in your city.
That's what it's called? Wow.
Like that.
I have a feeling they must have been doing events and stuff since people were taken for that. But yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, what say you? Do you think he deserves that Nobel Prize?
Obviously.
Yeah, if it sticks, that's it. Give it to him.
Do you want the prize to matter or not? So I don't know if my beloved wife is in the feed today or not, but she wrote a book. It was a Amazon bestseller in multiple categories, literally #1 bestseller. She outsold multiple books on the New York Times the exact same week, but she didn't make the list. And so what I kept telling her was, the New York Times, I get it. They still have brand name recognition, but because the award does not go to people based on sales, I'm like, why do you care? Yeah. So I was like, Amazon is about sales. So the fact that you topped multiple charts on Amazon, I was like, that's like a legitimate list to me.
Yeah,
whereas the New York Times is like a popularity contest of just the editors at the New York Times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so for me, it's like, look, there is name brand recognition to the Nobel Peace Prize, so I get why he would want it. But this whole thing just makes me go, whatever. That is meaningless. So in terms of legacy, the fact that he has done as much as he's done is very impressive. The great irony for me is what winds me up is he's constantly banging the drum about I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, which drives me crazy. But when you think about how historians are going to write about what he's done so far, because he could still fumble so catastrophically, who knows how the history books are going to remember him. But if you were going to write up till now, it's very impressive what he's done in terms of being acknowledged by the people in the middle of it that were like, yes, we got to this because of Trump. And again, even if those are just PR statements, you have to understand that he's been able to get them to make PR statements. So, I mean, that says something. What he was able to do with the Abraham Accords says something. And look, this is one of the things that to a Western audience, it really hits them funny. And this makes me really sad. And I'm going to campaign endlessly to get people to change their minds about this, that economics are all that matter. Economics are all that matter. What I mean by that is when a society believes that a couple years from now, their life will be materially better than it is today, and when they believe that their kids' life will be materially better than their life, meaning the material things in life, it will be better, everybody's focused in the right direction. And that's become like this icky thing. We don't celebrate success anymore. We demonize capitalism, all this stuff. That is a suicidal ideology. I cannot stress that enough. I'm saying in your personal life, that is god-awful. At the level of society, it's god-awful. At your family, it's god-awful. Why? Because money, economics, dollars and cents are about a way of proving you did something valuable with your time. Once you understand, money is about saying, I was able to exchange my time for a universal currency of value. And if you can't turn your time into something that you can store in a battery, dude, then every moment of your life is transient. You're never able to build into the future. You're never able to get ahead. This is where playing games, building games, like when you play survival crafting games, you really start to see what life is broken down into its most simple blocks. Like first you have to get shelter. Cool, you get that. Then you want to protect yourself, create safety. Then you're like, I need to eat. And then you're like, okay, I don't want to spend all my time going and fetching bites of food. I want to create a farm. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm just recreating life. And so you're always trying to get a bigger return on your time. And so money is the thing that says, I have figured out how to get a return on my time. And we've suddenly demonized people that are very good at getting a return on their time. Now, if people were mad about the system that has broken their ability to get a return on their time, cool. Now I'm here. I'm out here writing. I literally write about this every week. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get people to understand what's really going on. The system is demented, and being mad about the way that we have allowed that system to be weaponized against us, be mad as hell about that. But don't lose sight of why capitalism is the only tool that anyone ever, anywhere has used to pull people out of poverty. You lose sight of that at your peril. So we need to get re-excited about helping ourselves, our family, the world at large to get an extraordinary return on their time, to be able to capture the value of their time themselves and not have it constantly stolen from them. So I say all of that to say the genius that Trump is displaying right now is, I'm just going to get everybody focused on economics. I'm going to get everybody excited about like wealth coming to Gaza. But this collides with a religious ideology where it's like, nah, heaven's going to be better than this. And that creates this complicating factor that just gets debated endlessly. And it's what Michael Malice calls a mousetrap in people's minds. And part of it is I'm not big enough yet for when I say it that it really triggers people. I'm super nonchalant about this. If you've got a religion that like is worried only about what happens in heaven, and dying is not only just as good as life, might be a little better, you're going to have problems because now you're not incentivized to get a good return on your time. Or maybe said even more terrifyingly, the best return on your time that you can get is to go die in the name of this fight. And you can imagine that that's going to create a very strange dynamic, which we are watching play out, which is a whole lot of death. Is perfect. It's great. So, that's not a position you want to be in because now saving lives isn't a point of leverage, which is bad.
Shout out to Yeti Bandit on Twitch.
Yeti
the Strong
Bandit.
Mindy Twitch community. We have breaking news right now.
Oh, let's go.
Xi Jinping just suffered a severe stroke.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Unverified reports.
Unverified reports.
Okay.
4 hours ago, it's been circulating. Some people are saying that this also makes sense. We covered this on Wednesday, why he withdrew his name from the global summit. So it might be it wasn't. There was a lot of speculation that we did. So I want to put two things out there. Thing number one is one scenario. What if he really is sick? What if he is winding his time down?
Yeah.
Would those implications on America be asterisk who steps in his position? Because like you said, there's some leaders in China that went full socialist. We want to take over. Some were like, yeah, we could do a little bit of capitalism and work with the U.S. So if we get somebody that's one extreme or the other, that can radically change the tariff, the trade deals,
there's
all
no
that.
doubt, just as Xi Jinping was radically moving away from the kind of reforms that Deng Xiaoping had put in place, you could get somebody that's more Xi than Xi and really wants to go back to Mao-style China, which would be catastrophic. Or you could get somebody that's more Deng Xiaoping. All of the above is true. Almost no matter what, disruption like this isn't going to be great, but we'll see. I think that there's enough connective tissue in China that it's not like China is going to go through some massive crisis. Even like Russia, when Stalin died, you didn't end up getting the instability for years after that. So we'll see what happens here. But man, I never want to be happy when a human being goes through something tough. But the more I start reading about Xi Jinping, the more I worry that he's a Maoist figure and that he's going to be moving China backwards. China's not my country to tell them how to think or behave. I feel very strongly that every country should be able to do what they think is best, but I'm certainly going to say when it doesn't align with my values, and what Xi was doing does not align with my values at all. So from that perspective, I, as one dude, would love to see somebody that's more like Deng Xiaoping step into place, that wants term limits, that understands you need fresh ideas, new people to avoid that accumulation of corruption at the top. So we'll see.
I'm getting some notes in the chat that they just released their 5-year plan. So it is something that a lot of times, and this is a question, like once the leader kind of sets this is what we're doing for the next 5 years, I'm sure the next leader could come and blow that up. But if he would,
100%.
Oh, okay, so that's enough.
Yeah. When Mao had a God knows how many year plan, and as soon as he died, everybody was like, "Thank the Lord." Now I have no idea. I do not know enough about Chinese politics to know how people feel about Xi Jinping. The only thing I can say is that the era where China really like made huge leaps forward on the world stage were not under Xi Jinping. So Xi came in and reconsolidated power, moved away from some of the what I'll call reforms of China post Mao, and from where I'm sitting was beginning to move the country backwards. So from that perspective, when I started hearing, I hadn't heard that he was sick or that he had a stroke. What I had heard was that he might be losing power, and I was assuming, because I didn't have the information, I was assuming that it had something to do with the trade war with the US. So I was like, okay, cool. If he's losing his grip on power because of that, and these guys are like, we have to play, like, we have to be more cooperative with the West, that would be huge. Because Xi was openly, in fact, I wonder if I can pull this up. This is from my I'm not going to get to it fast enough. This is from my upcoming deep dive. I was writing a section about Xi. Let's see. Can we get there? Yes, that's exactly what I need. I can't believe you had that on tap.
I've been waiting to press that button.
You got there. Okay, here we go. As Kevin Rudd outlines in On Xi Jinping, China's leader has fundamentally changed the nation's posture since taking power in 2012. Xi has abandoned the cautious, hide your strength and bide your time diplomacy of Deng Xiaoping, and he's replaced it with a doctrine of assertive rejuvenation, reclaiming China's historical place as the central power in Asia and ultimately a co-equal or even superior to the United States. China is not the quiet rising power it once was. Xi has centralized control, purged rivals, and written his own ideology, Xi Jinping thought, into the Chinese constitution. He's fused the Communist Party, the private sector, and the military under one strategic mission: national rejuvenation by 2049. And that means openly challenging the U.S. That shift from humble participant to aggressive competitor explains much of what's unfolding right now. So, yeah. Well, we will see what this means, but this could be a total shift in dynamic on the part of China. It will entirely come down to what the real mood in China is on the ground, and I don't have any visibility into that. So you can listen to people like Peter Zihan, who are going to say, "Oh, China's done, bro. It's a wrap. Like, it was a wrap 10 years ago. Demographics is destiny. It's over." And then there are other people that'll say, no, never count China out. Like, that would be a huge mistake. Like, these guys, they're a massive population. There's that line in the Social Network. They have more geniuses than America has anything, just based on statistics, which is wild to think. So, yeah, I'm in the never count China out camp. But man, would I love to see the U.S. and China cooperate. That would be a fantasy, but I don't want to fool myself. They do not share our value system. And so this is not oh my gosh, they're going to embrace democracy. It was always going to be communism with Chinese characteristics. Like, they knew enough to leverage capitalism, but it was never going to be U.S. style capitalism.
What I'm hearing is it's really a roll of the dice. If Xi falls away and another leader steps up, it could be the best thing that ever happens to America and we kumbaya into peace, or it could be Thucydides trap times 100 and we have a war in 4 years.
That is correct.
So it's one of those, just hurry up and wait.
Yeah, we need to find out, one, what's the sentiment on the ground about Xi? Two, is this even true? Or is Xi like in a bathtub right now laughing his ass off? We don't
Trying to see
know.
who shows up at his funeral.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on. But shout out to Who was it that posted
Yeti
it?
Bandit
Yeti
on
Bandit.
Twitch. Shout
Our
out to the
boy,
Twitch fam.
Long-term Yeti Bandit.
I'm gonna tell you guys right now, Tom loves Twitch, and I feel like he's gonna make a return to Twitch. This is not breaking news. I'm speculating right now, but he talks about it like an ex-girlfriend. Like, with the game coming up, I feel like I should stream more. So I feel like
Well,
you have
no, we have to like solve that problem.
We have to figure it out, but
yeah.
Gaming
God
streams
bless
come back.
Twitch.
But I do want to close the loop about the economics for a second, though. When you were talking about that's what really drove the peace deal in the Middle East, is that when you have a hopeful future. And as you were saying that, of course, people in the chat were like, well, not everybody could be an entrepreneur. Some people are teachers and never going to make a bunch of money and all these other things. So I just want to kind of say, when you're saying economics, I'm going to extrapolate for you. Please correct me. Is it one of those things that it's a sentiment, it's a feeling,
No, it's real dollars and cents in your pocket. So right now, I don't think people understand that one of the foundational pillars to human happiness is progress. Progress. That word means more to people than they realize in their own life. So when a teacher thinks, in like 3 to 5 years, I'm going to be making more money than I make today, not just keeping up with inflation. I'm going to be making more money. I'm going to be able to afford more things. They're very optimistic. They're very hopeful for the future. When they feel like, which is actually true right now, that I'm going to be able to afford less in 3 years than I can afford right now, that's despair. Now, they're not going to be able to articulate why it's despair. They're just going to say life is getting more expensive, and working harder for less result is beyond demoralizing because we are wired for progress. What nature is trying to do is get you to create safety, figure out hunting, build a society that can protect itself, support itself. Like, it wants you to have kids that have kids very, very badly. And one of the first things that will shut off your ability to have kids is a dearth of calories. Something so simple. If you're starving, women will shut down their ovulatory cycle because the body goes, I will not be able to support you and a child. So the first thing to go is that. Women even just getting stressed, it'll shut down their ovulatory cycle. So nature's like, nah, I need women to be chill. I need them to have plenty of food before I'm going to let you have children. And given that all nature wants you to do is have children, it's going to create all these psychological drivers to start creating like more robust safety around you, more access to food, clean water, like all of that stuff. You need something inside your brain that drives you to do that. And it only has pleasure and pain. So it makes the sense of like, ooh, I've got a goal and I'm making progress towards it. It makes that extremely pleasurable. And this is why I tell people fulfillment is about working hard to gain a set of skills that allow you to make progress towards an honorable goal. Make progress, not achieve it. The achieving it won't satisfy you. That's the great irony. You will just be pushed to make more progress. And this is why somebody that's worth $350 billion doesn't go, I've got enough, because the algorithm that's running in their brain is not a number. It's not even a distance between you and the next person. It is simply progress.
That's a good point.
And so once you understand that, you can be mad at God, fine, but like, that's how you're wired. That is the foundation of the human mind.
I hope that answers you guys' question. That makes sense to me because I think there's oftentimes a lot of that speculation that like, oh, you have this number, stop. Oh, you did this, stop. And it's like,
doesn't work.
It's not about the tangible thing. It's the act of progress. So I love that. Okay, let's jump over to the justice system. Letitia James, that was the New York State AG that went after Trump. She is now being prosecuted for the mortgage fraud that she was committed. Somebody even dug up a tweet from 2024 or 2024 in the beginning that she even tweeted like, nobody's above the law. If you cheat on your applications, you're stealing it from home buyers. I literally scrolled through her X feed this morning. She deleted everything before like October.
That is hilarious.
So it was like, the furthest I could go back was like October 2024 and the deleted tweet was in February. So I'm like, I get it, I guess. But I know we have the stump speech when she was campaigning, and we have Scott Jennings and some of these other reactions. But set this up for us. What's kind of your perspective on this? I sue you now. I'm in power, now you're in power. You sue me. What's this kind of vicious cycle that we're in right now?
Let me say in no uncertain terms, Letitia James going after Donald Trump was a catastrophic error. Donald Trump going after Letitia James is a catastrophic error. This is how you get into the tit for tat selective prosecution that turns you into a banana republic. We've got to have somebody that breaks this cycle. We have to have somebody that understands that for us to move forward well as a nation, there is no option but to come together in the middle. This is like a couple that is married, they're raising children, and if you divorce, it is going to be the most bloody, violent thing ever. And somehow, some way, they keep convincing themselves to march down that path. We've got to stop doing that. So while I think Letitia James is patently ridiculous, hearing her, she's a district attorney, hearing her stump like she's running for mayor is wild. It is absolutely ridiculous. This is why I'm saying we need to bring virtue back. We need people to do things that are morally excellent, even when it hurts us. We need people that will stand up and say, this is what's right for people, that can define what right means, which I will happily do for you. We need to make sure that people are able to improve their economic system, their economic situation over time, that we want people to be able to thrive by pursuing life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I'll define happiness as a pursuit of fulfillment, which I can define that as well. That is work hard to gain a set of skills that allow you to make progress towards an honorable goal. Like, these are the very simple things that we want to do. We want human flourishing as much as humanly possible. And instead of that, what we have are team sports where everybody's just trying to knock the other person down. I get it. To get elected, you have to look big, you have to look strong, you have to look powerful. There's two ways to do that. Way number one is to chop your opponent off at the knees, make them shorter. The other way is to just be bigger, to just be better, to deliver more results. I understand, I've talked about it 1,000 times. We're in a populist moment, and so people don't think like that. But the only way out of this absolutely self-destructive behavior is for somebody to finally say the way forward is to say, we're going to deal with cause and effect. And the cause and effect of going after my political opponent is that as soon as I'm out of office, they're going to come after me or the people behind me. And we're just going to be in this eternal death loop. Think of these as rival gangs. Finally, somebody has to say, yes, everybody, I understand how many of your family members have been murdered. And I'm just telling you, the cause and effect is moving forward. More of them will get murdered if you retaliate. This is exactly what Nelson Mandela did, so I know it is possible. Nelson Mandela was actually bringing people back together. Unfortunately, he just got too old to rule, obviously eventually passes away, and now, of course, the country is backsliding massively. But you need somebody with that kind of energy. This freaks me out. It does not go anywhere good. Full stop.
All right, and I see some people saying like, no, it was mortgage fraud. We can't confuse Lisa Cook, which is the Fed chair that had the mortgage application fraud, with Letitia James, who was doing bank fraud. And Trump apparently likes to sue black women who do shady bank account transactions.
I don't think it has anything to do with the black women part.
I'm joking.
But it's like, look, I really understand what people are saying. And I also am caught up in the conundrum of you don't want to let people get away with doing illegal things. I understand that. But I'm making a value judgment, and I'm saying already in the world, 1,000%, boys and girls, I guarantee you, we don't go after everybody that commits a crime. So you've got to ask, given that we know we don't go after everybody who commits a crime, and we just rank order the people that we're going to go after, going after political opponents, they should be very low on your list because of the message that it sends to the world. Because you know the cause and effect of that is that it is going to drive people into their entrenched camps. It is going to push us that much closer to a revolution or a civil war. And I know people don't want to think that that's possible, but they happen all the time. So it is super common. So at some point, you just have to say, for the greater good, we're letting this one slide. Even if you want to say, listen, we have reason to believe that Letitia James did this, and we hand this over to the Democrats to pursue as they see fit. We are not going to be pursuing it because it's going to look like a political hit job. Great. And let's say all it does is it ruins her legacy. Fine. But like, if this is exactly what happened with Nixon, by the way. So Nixon obviously committed crimes, ends up stepping down, and they pardon him because the reasoning was it's not good for the country to go after a former president. And it's like, yes, correct. It's not good for the country to do that. This is the way to incentivize going after the next one and the next one and the next one, which is the loop we're in. We are in an escalating loop of presidents are going to grab more power because every election is going to become existential. If if we lose, they're going to come kill our side. They're going to try to arrest them. They're going to try to prosecute them. If you know that, all of a sudden, like a little bit of fudging here, a little bit of lying there, a little bit of cheating, all of that's justified because we're the good guys, of course. And if we get booted out of office, they're just going to come after us. I mean, this is exactly why Biden did all the pardons that he did, was he thought that Trump was going to come in and persecute those people. And so he's giving them preemptive pardons. That's wild. So what I'm saying is it is a far bigger issue, political, I need a better word than violence, the political attacks, the weaponization of the justice system. That is far more terrifying than people committing fraud. Fraud is terrible. We don't want to do it. By all means, put them on blast. But when you go after them legally, that's where I'm like, hand it over to the Democrats or hand it over to the Republicans and say, listen, you should be doing something with your own team because that person clearly did a thing. But it just becomes tit for tat. Yeah. It's just a bigger problem.
Yeah. I'm conflicted though, because I was listening to your recording of the deep dive coming out, and you even talked about the slippery slope to totalitarianism, authoritarianism is when you get into political warfare, and then the bureaucracy expels all the others. They all get fined, thrown in jail, killed, whatever like that. And then you kind of consolidate power in that way. So it's like, I see if this leads to this one, the slippery slope could get there. But on the flip side of that, America was founded by lawyers. Like, it was founded in a courtroom. I feel like there is this natural, I'm going to rebel. I'm going to fight the system. We're going to talk about this discourse. We're going to come up with laws and standards. And this is the framework we're now going to play within. So if I find a weakness in that frame, I should attack it so that I could get that leverage to get the outcome that I want. So while I understand that attacking specifically a New York State AG, that I think is a different conversation. She's an elected official, it's government, versus the Fed chair Lisa Cook thing, where that is like an appointed position. You don't have to run in campaign and stuff like that. But to your point, Letitia James literally ran on, we're going to throw Trump in jail, we're going to indict him. We have her campaign clip here we're going to play in a second. So I can understand Trump now saying in power, oh, you're going to get me? Haha, I'm in the seat, so I'm going to get you. And that pettiness, it can be a slippery slope. So
it is a slippery slope. No. We are already rapidly sliding down it. That's the problem. Man, I don't want to ratchet up my own belief about where we are on the timeline in order to get people to pay attention. But I have to admit, I am more concerned about America than I think a lot of people are. And that makes me very sad. I believe that all of the amazing things that we've done to build this incredible country can and will go away. Every country has lost the top spot, literally every country ever, all throughout human history, without exception. They've all lost it. And so I'm just like, not only can it happen, it will happen. So trying to forestall it seems like the only answer. I feel right now, to use an analogy, I'm looking at a 75-year-old and they have this sense of everything hurts anyway. I'm going to die anyway. They're morbidly obese and they're drinking 3 bottles of vodka a day and they subsist off Twinkies and fucking ho-hos. And they're just like, we're so far gone now. What does it really matter? Yeah. And I'm just like, Jesus. Like, if you can extend your life a little bit, by the way, if you stop eating and drinking like that, you will stop being in so much pain. And everyone just feels like, it's so far gone. Who cares? Yeah. And they're not even just like slowing down enough to look at, it's knowable why alcohol causes the problems that you're having. It's knowable why an excess of carbohydrates is causing the problem that you're having. Like, these are knowable things. And so slow down, start making good choices today. Somebody has to say, yesterday was the last day I was going to drink, do drugs, eat all that garbage, whatever. Like, at some point, somebody has to say that. And yes, it's going to be hard. And yes, there's withdrawal and all that stuff. But like, are we really just going to say, no, the whole game is to just ride it as hard as you can until the wheels fall off? Like, that just seems so absurd. But that's how we're living.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too, because as much as we're banging this drum that we shouldn't do this, I feel like it's not going away.
It's not going away.
Yeah.
It's a populist moment. But I guess in all of this, I'm not talking to the politicians. I'm talking to the people that are here live in chat. That's who I have faith in, that enough people can go, okay, wait a second. Me being my most selfish, I would back off of this rhetoric. I would focus on exchanging my time for this economic return, investing that so it can't be stolen from me from the government, voting on policies that are good for the economy, focusing on a thriving middle class. Like, those are the most selfish things that I could do. And all the other stuff is just emotion. So yeah, I really, that would be the big contribution I'm hoping that I can make.
Yeah, we shall see. We are hopeful for it. Yeah. All right. Moving on. I lost my cursor.
Tink Mac is drinking beer right now. Enjoy.
At 8:55 in the morning.
Hey,
Crazy.
it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Drew.
It is.
He could be in Europe.
I literally was leaving my
Or she.
hotel this morning. It was 5 a.m. No, 7 a.m. I got here. And there were people in the patio already like pre-gaming. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Well, there's there's a festival today. But I'm like, 7 pre-game? Cool. Cool.
Hold on. This has got to be one of those where, for me, alcohol is a depressant. So when I drink alcohol, I get tired. So if I start drinking at 7 a.m., which whatever, but if I start drinking at 7 a.m., by 1 o'clock, I'm like, bedtime.
And the concert ends at like 10 p.m. So I'm like, you guys are.
That's wild.
A lot,
for some people, I hear this rumor all the time that some people, it doesn't act as a depressant and it actually gives them energy. Oof, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Thank God, because man, if alcohol didn't have downsides, I would probably drink a lot more.
All right.
Alcohol makes me feel like I'm suppressing the urge to dance on a table. But, ooh, buddy, it comes at a cost.
So it's one of those things you like go high, then you just spike. Like
Yes, I am a super happy drunk.
Nice.
Like super happy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so in love. Like if I'm with my wife, I'm like, oh my God, you don't know how much I love you. Like I'm just super cheesy like that. It's really fun. And then a couple hours later, I am yawning and like, it is bedtime. So
it's going on 2 years. I still haven't seen you take a sip of alcohol. We went to happy hours.
So here's the thing.
Like
if I'm going to drink alcohol, I want to be alone with my wife. It's like, that's the only thing that's fun enough to justify it. So, yeah.
You said the same thing about weed, too. Like, as soon as I
Well,
smoke.
weed is about sex. I'm not going to smoke weed if I'm not having sex, Drew. So, if you see me start smoking, you need to run in the opposite direction because genitals are coming out, Drew.
Where's the help button?
Yes. Hey,
What's happening?
You brought it up. I'm just telling you what it is. Yeah, I don't understand. People that just smoke weed to smoke weed, I don't get it. But if you've never had sex while high, it's a different sport. It is a different sport.
Somebody said sex on shrooms. No way. I do not want to be tripping in the middle of a stroke. No, thank you. Like
I have not tried shrooms. Full stop.
Yes, psychedelics. I start crying.
Sorry that we didn't give a kid warning here. By the way.
Oh, sorry.
I try to always give people a heads up if we're gonna go in that direction.
All right. I want to jump into the Antifa roundtable that happened yesterday. The Israel-Gaza peace deal kind of stole the thunder of this, but. Trump invited a bunch of White House officials, cabinet members, and even some influencers came, and they really talked about the Antifa problem in America. Now, my opinion of Antifa coming in, headline reader, I remember Antifa kind of rising up during the BLM movement, and they were just the bad protesters that were starting all the violence and things like that. I didn't realize it was an organization. They were getting funding. They were laundering money, for lack of a better term. So it is this roundtable has
I haven't heard the laundering money thing.
I say launder money, meaning that it was a taxpayer money that was supposed to be going to something else, and it
NGOs.
kind of
People
funneled money might be better than laundered. Yeah,
that NGOs are funneling money to them.
Yeah.
So I have a growing hypothesis that the right way to think about Antifa is that they are today's brown shirts. So for people that don't know, the brown shirts were like the initial thugs for Hitler. Now, who's the Hitler in this situation? I don't know. I'll say that Antifa is distributed enough that maybe there's nobody. I'm being very generous only because I have not done the research, and so I don't want to call anybody out because I have a feeling that there are some specific people behind this. But they are violent. They are thugs, and they have ideology that they are trying to put forward by being violent. So yeah, from that perspective, I'm just really not a fan. Remember, everybody thinks they're right. Everybody thinks they're right. The bad guys think they're right. The good guys think they're right. Oftentimes hard to tell. Sometimes they switch from one day to the next. So yeah, I don't love this. But finding out that there are a bunch of NGOs that are funding this is extremely disheartening. Mike Benz, we had him on the show. We're checking out. Like, he really rocked me in terms of, I always had a really positive view of NGOs. Just background. I'd never thought about them, didn't really know what they did or why they existed. Just thought NGOs were a good thing.
Yeah.
And then when you start tracking down what they're doing, how they're funding things, how they sort of coordinate with like the CIA and what the CIA is trying to do. And as we clamped down on the CIA and told the CIA there were certain things, when Congress clamped down on them and said there were certain things they couldn't do, all of a sudden NGOs start popping up and you're like, wait a second. So these things are more troubling than people give them credit for.
Yeah. Let's jump to White's Wall Street Apes.
Tweet?
They're tweeting. They covered the summit. White House releases names funding Antifa, protests and violence in America. We paid for our own protests with over $100 million laundered by Democrats. We found a network of NGOs. That's a quote. George Soros, the Open Society Network, Arabella Funding Network, the Tides Fishing Network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, Joanne Gorg, Hansberg.
I think that's exactly how that's said.
We're a billionaire donor in Switzerland in additional foreign cash. It's also big left-wing funders, some of them who are not citizens of this country. The Switzerland person, of course. We have identified dozens of radical organizations, not just a decentralized Antifa organization, but dozens of radical organizations that have received more than $100 million in funding from the Riot Inc. investors. I think the most shocking thing is that we have found out that more than $100 million in U.S. taxpayer funding has flowed into these funding networks.
Yeah. So, okay, I understand why we use words like left and right and all that stuff, and the human mind is designed to put things into categories. I get it, but I think that we exacerbate the problem. I would much by constantly shoving everything into those boxes. It's entirely possible that Antifa is just 100% a Democrat phenomenon. It's also possible that the level of analysis there is better off at values. Like, what are they trying to do? What is their mission? What are they trying to accomplish? And if we can figure out what it is that they're trying to accomplish, I think we'd be in a much better position. They're not really on my radar enough as like the thing I need to put my time and attention to really learning about. Maybe they will get bigger over time. But when I start thinking of them as the brown shirts, okay, they're trying to create violence, to move an ideology forward. They use the anarchy symbol a lot. So this is, I want to tear down the government. Okay, as soon as people start talking about tearing down instead of reforming, I'm like, okay, this is almost certainly an envy play because the United States has created like the strongest, most prosperous country on planet Earth that has ever existed. And so for them to go, we have to tear that all down, that to me is very much a phenomenon of envy and a hunger for power. So now, right now, that gets very much associated with the left, but because I'd love to see sort of a weakening of those intellectual boxes that everybody's trying to cram people into and get people to focus on values, those values are self-defeating. I don't care who holds them. So whether they're being held on the left or right is irrelevant to me. Anybody that holds the value of destruction, tear it down, dissolve the family, things like that, that is so destructive to the things that lead to prosperity. That's my beef. Now, anybody that starts spouting it, of course, I'm going to have a hard time with that. And if it really does cluster on the left or specifically with Democrats, it's worth noting. But man, I just really want people to stop with the drumbeat of left v right, because it just makes it a team sport instead of saying what values, when enacted, lead to human flourishing. That I think is a much more interesting question.
Yeah, and Kanada in the chat wrote that, you know, Antifa is the left wing arm, America Front or Patriot Front is the right wing. Like,
yeah, they each have their own armed wing.
So this kind of reminds me of the lawfare thing, where because we have a Republican president making endless amounts of legislation and deals, Antifa now rises up. When the Democrats were in power, there were other people protesting, the Charlottesville March, things like that. So is this the same thing as apparently, of course, the NGOs and those things, there's definitely some nuances there. But is this kind of the similar conversation to the lawfare where we're trying to find ways to skirt our opponents as opposed to trying to reform, work together, and actually build like a prosperous government?
I think this is a different phenomenon. So I think what you've got here is there is a psychological principle at work that is very Marxist in nature. It is very much about tearing down. It is very much about envy. They won't recognize it as envy, but it is that. It's power, it's envy. And when you put those two things together, you get extremely destructive ideologies. And that phenomenon, which has been happening now for quite some time, is really a terrifying mirror to the human condition and what like humans are capable of and how we tend towards that a lot. I find very distressing. And so I think analyzing this one at that level instead of us versus our enemy, it's okay, wait, what's happening that's driving this envy? What is it that we're allowing to go unchecked? Now, I think as you start peeling back this onion, you get into the feminization of society. And that's where I think what you need, if you're going to defeat this, then you've got to start bringing things like virtue to the forefront. You've got to start reestablishing, like celebrating masculine energy. You have to start putting boundaries around things. You have to start being disciplined. All the things where it's like we say that behavior is not acceptable. This is what this is what this nation is designed to do, and therefore we are going to do that. And anybody that is lashing out, acting childish, being envious, that isn't virtuous, we're going to call that out. We're going to stop it. We're not going to tolerate it at the level of society. But this really does get into something that I think is profoundly deep, that kicked off for me with 2020. I talked about this on Wednesday already, so people are going to get tired of hearing this. But I went through this realization where I was like, wait, all the like cancel culture stuff feels like what we would now call the toxic feminine. I wouldn't have had those words back then.
That's what you mean by the feminization of society.
Yeah.
Got it.
So women do things via subterfuge. This starts to get very complicated, and one where I'd want to really think about what words I use. But I think Jordan Peterson was on the money when he delineates between masculine and feminine as chaos and order. And once you put creation on the chaos side and you don't think of it as this purely bad, unhinged thing, it's just medical research doesn't even study women. Do you know why they don't study women?
Why? Because
their hormones make even their bodily functions literally chaotic. So you never know, are they responding to the drug or is this a hormonal effect? So Lisa's menstrual cycle will cause her stomach to get upset. So now, was it something she ate or was it where she was in her menstrual cycle? So that's brutal. I can't believe that they have to go through all of that, but they can literally create life. So it's like you have this incredibly complex thing that has always existed inside of a masculine frame because the world is uber dangerous. And if you don't have men creating walls, creating order, creating structure that then the feminine can exist inside of, all hell breaks loose. And as we have tricked ourselves into, by creating so much prosperity through a masculine frame, we have tricked ourselves into thinking that prosperity is a law of nature. And once you get into that, then the feminine starts going, well, hold on a second, like I should be able to do whatever the hell I want. They are largely driven by emotion. And now you're getting into a position where you start demonizing the person that creates the frame, that puts up the walls, that creates the systems, that creates the safety, and you begin eroding all of that. And so when I say the feminization of it, I think people expect that to be soft, pink, or whatever. And I'm saying, no, Antifa is that. And so it doesn't necessarily manifest as pink, frilly. It manifests as no rules, disorder, don't tell me what I can and can't do. I don't want boundaries. I don't want borders. And then they'll ultimately discover, oh shit, wait, those borders were protecting me from something. And so, God, I can only imagine this is going to get clipped out at some point. But since I believe it, we'll keep going. I believe one of the things that's really useful in male and female dynamics is that men are able to create that for a woman to then fully express herself in, to be able to get pregnant and have children and be inside of that safety. Men are pushed to be better because of their partnership with women. It is a partnership. We are equals, but we both do very different things. And I think that we're going to need to get back to acknowledging the fact that women are looking for a man that can be dominant, that can, as they say, set the frame. But right now that's not even acknowledged. And when somebody says it, they're going to be immediately demonized and argue against nature at your own peril. So this is, women are amazing. Women are capable of incredible things. Men should think of women as partners. They should certainly think of them as equals, but we are very different. And if we fail to do the things that we are designed for, good at, then it all starts to break apart, and it just feels so confusing as to why nothing makes sense. Why is nothing solid? Why does this feel like it's tending towards madness? And it's tending towards madness because you can't have the chaotic act of creation unless you first create the stability in which that can sit. And I'm arguing that since roughly like the 1930s in America, we've been trying to erode the masculine frame of stability, rules, order, which, by the way, can become obviously tyrannical. We're trying to erode that because we've had prosperity for so long. And man, convincing people that you have to earn that success is hard.
We got to tease all these things out. So I have like a rundown right now because chat is going crazy. So the first thing I want to talk about is before we jump into the masculine and the feminine, and I think we should define terms about that, because I think a lot of times when you say masculine and feminine, a lot of people are 100% going to, well, men do this, women do this. I'm like, to your point, it's not about pink and fluffy. It's about the energy and stuff like that.
It's really about the cause and effect of it all.
Okay.
So,
but before we get into that, somebody said in the chat a little bit earlier, just talking about Antifa as an idea. It started off as anti-fascist. We're supposed to be doing this thing to fight the corruption in the government. Somebody, Frank222 said, Tom, it's not envy, it's justice, as you never mentioned greed as a problem. So there are certain people that think
what I need to know what they're saying is
because you said Antifa is born out of envy, but they
think Antifa is justice.
Is justice, they counterbalance.
Antifa is the it's in that sense. That would, Frank is a longtime member of this community. I hate to say that that's full retard, but if he's saying that Antifa is justice, that's full retard.
But going back to the populist moment, you said for when we have a moment where a populist leader like rises, you're also going to get the equal and opposite protest arm. There might be a better word to say that.
Protest, great.
Yeah, the counterbalance.
Violence, problematic.
But if we had an Obama type leader, we would have peaceful protests against that leader.
Peaceful, love.
Now we have a bombastic WWE bad guy. So of course we're going to have a bombastic heel on the other side.
Do you know who Andy Ngo is? Andy Ngo is a reporter, not exactly a big guy. He's been attacked by Antifa. So I'm talking about these guys, when they say punch a Nazi, they really mean punch a person they deem to be a Nazi. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's illegal, always and forever. The government has a monopoly on violence. The government should have a monopoly on violence. So that's what I'm saying. Are we literally saying is Frank literally saying he wants vigilante justice? That's absurd. So this whole Luigi Mangione, whichever it is, thing where we celebrate that is absurd. So I've just got sort of a hard pass on that one if we're saying that Antifa is justice.
Yeah, and he's coming back to saying Antifa does not exist.
That's
it's the idea.
Also full retard.
Yeah. The roundtable showed that there are funding mechanisms too. It's a decentralized organization, but there is an organization.
You can walk into, and people have walked into, Antifa chapters that have physical locations. So they are decentralized for sure, But I mean, you can pull up the video. Just do person infiltrates Antifa, and you'll see the video. The guy walking around inside of I don't want to call it a headquarters because they're not. They don't have a headquarters, but they have this group in this region meets here. So
got it.
And then if you believe in network states at all, which certainly Balaji would, Antifa at a minimum is a network state. It is an ideology, maybe not glued down by a specific place, and maybe their hierarchy is not formed via, like we have a president and we have Congress and the Senate. Like, I'm not saying they work like that, but are people saying that, like, when Antifa rolls up and punches you in the head, you're being punched by an idea? Like, I don't, what's the logic? So people take ideas, they form clubs, groups, whatever, as decentralized as they want to be. But I mean, this is like going back to crypto. What crypto realized real fucking fast is a truly decentralized organization with no leadership goes nowhere. If we're saying that Antifa has any impact, it is because, at least in little pockets in that area, there's a person that people are following. Read James Burnham. James Burnham will make abundantly clear for anybody who cares, you are always going to have leadership. Always, 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 always. I don't care how decentralized the movement is.
And I think there's some dissension in the chat. Like, no, Antifa means anti-fascism. So is anti-fascism
Do they
bad?
really? Hold on.
But I'll say this. Anti-fascism, however you feel about it, is different than punching a Nazi. So I feel like we have to...
But what? So, okay. If I started a group and it was called Love, and we walked around and anybody that we saw being mean, we beat them with baseball bats. And I was like, bro, love is just an idea. Like, love is what happens when two people come together. Like, yes, I just clubbed that guy with a baseball bat, but no one can be love. No one is, love doesn't have a headquarters. Love is love, man. And so I don't even know what you guys are talking. Hey, Bobby, go fucking hit them with a baseball bat. But so back to what I was saying, like, love is, it's like a parent and a child. Bobby, fucking hit him with the bat. Jesus. Okay, if I'm doing that, all the while saying that love is some bullshit, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anti-fat, who decides that that person or that action is fascist in the first place? So I am anti-fascism all day, but I'm not part of Antifa. And I don't know if people are trolling or what to pretend that Antifa as a thing hasn't become a thing. Yeah. That's really stupid. So, yeah.
One more thing on the violence point. Hello World was like, well, we do have the Second Amendment. Is the Second Amendment not a constitutional get out of jail free card to allow citizens to use violence and certain measures and specific ordinances?
So the Second Amendment is all about protecting from a tyrannical government. So if you don't want protections from a tyrannical government, fair enough. Like, lobby to get rid of the Second Amendment. But that is what the Second Amendment is designed to do.
And then now taking that next step, if people think that what Trump is doing is tyrannical, would that then allow them to justify their violence?
Yeah, look, you now start getting into complicated issues where it's like, if you really believe that the government is not protecting you, because keep in mind, the Antifa is not only, Andy No is not a part of the government. Andy No got attacked. So, and that is, I assure you, not the only person. So if we want to say, listen, Tom, Antifa is a well-armed or well-organized militia, and we need these. These are protected by the Second Amendment. Okay, we can have the argument at that level. I think my feelings on this are very clear. I don't think the government is anywhere near warranting, and I mean, it's not anywhere near warranting an armed uprising. I don't think that about Trump. I didn't think that about Biden. I have literally at no time in my life did I think, you know what, we would be better off if we violently overthrew the government. That's fucking stupid. So that would be worse in virtually every way that you can count it. So until I see a group of people like the Founding Fathers who rise up, who have a very clear plan, this is how we're going to do it. They do everything they can to politically persuade the government. We're just not getting there. And then the government, let's remember that King George was literally mad. So you can imagine they were doing insane shit. So until we get there, like that to me as a guy is just completely unreasonable. And the thing that I would put out into the world is, hey, let's focus on what really matters. Economics. Economics is driving all of this. If you don't solve the economic problem, you've got nothing. If you think that we are at violent overthrow of government time, I agree violently with you, metaphorically, of course. I'm not going to run into the street and punch you. So, yeah, let's have the argument at that point. But I'm not even sure what they're arguing for.
Copy that. Okay, I'm going to put that one aside. And then now we're going to go to the feminization and masculine of society, I guess. Before you jump into kind of that breakdown again and clarify, is there definitions you can say, like when I say the feminization of society, I mean X. When I say the masculine of society, I mean the Y.
Feminization of society would be to break down all of the rules, boundaries, borders.
And then is that, how do we attribute those attributes to the feminization? Is there like I don't know, he said Jordan Peterson represents. So is he saying like it's back to Gaia in the Greeks? Is that like a Plato thing?
Do me a favor. Try to pull up an image of Arnold Schwarzenegger's son that grew up with his mom. And let's see what pops up. I don't know if we'll be able to get to it this fast. This is one of those I should have saved. Oh my God, that might be it. Yes, that's it. Right there. Literally that image. Pull that up. Okay. So you've got the kid on the left. So didn't even know Arnold until he was like 13. And then at like 13, Arnold gets involved in his life. That is his son. And then that's also his son on the right. But that son grew up with his mom largely post-split. Notice anything?
The one on the right has longer hair.
You must be joking. Are you trolling me, Drew?
The one on the right has a blue shirt.
The one on the right is permissiveness. The one on the left is get your ass in the gym. So the reason that kids do better when they grow up with a father is the father will roughhouse with them and put all kind of fucking boundaries. And you also need a mother who loves you and says, no matter what, whether you go to the gym or not, I love you. But if you don't have the balance, if you don't also have the father, you've got a problem. Now, if you only have a father, you've got a problem. Mm-hmm. If you only have a mother, you've got a problem. And I'm just saying that photo is like, ooh, buddy, does that really bring it home?
Okay. I think that answers that question on that side. That's hilarious that it's like a split screen too.
Bro. What's even funnier, I don't know if it's real or if somebody doctored it. On the left, they're wearing red. On the right, they're wearing blue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hysterical.
Layers. There's layers to it. Okay. I thought this was done. I thought Charlie Kirk got pushed. Israel deal. Nobel Peace Prize. I thought Trump had every distraction in his back pocket. He's going to paint the White House gold. He's going to do something to get out of these Epstein files. But Rep. Thomas Massey's not letting this go. So this is from a sit-down he had with Kash Patel, explicitly naming that they not only have the files, but they have names in the list and implications of certain people.
You replied, according to the transcript, there is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to.
Sure
that list also includes.
Yeah, if I'm the Barclays Bank guy, I'm like
hey, what? Bro,
like, dog, what's going on?
I thought we were cool, man. Because now he's going to give everybody else cover. I don't get it. Anyway.
Other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada. You replied.
And again, the CEO of Barclays is like, dog, I couldn't just be the CEO from the bank thing? Like, what are we doing? Yeah.
I'm so curious why that one guy got name checked. I'm like, is he dead or something? But that's wild. Well, let's get the files, man. Yeah. This does not look good. This does not look good, man. We'll see. I've heard there's another link. Pull it up where in the thing it says there's some grumblings that we might. This is unverified. Unverified. Here we go. But this is Joe Rogan, dressed as a priest, by the way. Which Jesus, you want to talk about like, is this AI? But I'm guessing this is he with Duncan Trussell here? He must be because they always dress up.
Solwell Eric Swalwell.
No, I'm saying. Oh, that's who he's with right now?
That's who he's talking
Oh
to.
shit!
Yeah.
I don't even know that. All right, let's hear it.
Eric Swalwell said this stuff today.
Oh, that's who said that stuff.
It
I
might
don't
not
know
be
who-
true, but
It's coming to an end, guys. I've
yes,
spoken to a lot of
Duncan
House
Trussell.
Republicans this week, and they confided that Trump's movement support is fading as one told me this Epstein bomb is about to drop, and no one wants to defend a pedo protector. It's just a matter of time, Swalwell said in a thread. One Republican just texted me that if there's a discharge vote on Epstein, they expect a jailbreak of over 100 members. Trump will go nuts, he added.
so they said,
If
this
that
further goes on to say
ends
that
up
if
happening and we find out that Trump has really just been like crushing this down, yo, that's gonna be dark. That's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
That is not gonna go well, man.
And then
Just release the files, bro. Release the files.
I want to square the circle. Let's finish this clip.
get back that this is the first thing on the docket, and that's sort of what's holding them back in recess right here.
So Jamie kind of says off camera that that's what's holding the shutdown, because they know when they come back, this is the first order of business. Like, continuing resolution, budget's good. Okay, cool. Epstein files now. Like, and that's why people are saying they're playing politics with that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It, like, honestly, because as somebody who is more favorable of Trump, I'll give you grace like that. I'm not saying you're Team Trump. I'm not saying you got a MAGA hat or nothing.
You're like,
But-
I'm trying to be graceful.
Yeah, no, but like you want the American president to succeed. I'll
Yes,
give you that.
regardless of who the American president
Yes,
is.
so I'll give you that as lightly as possible. If the Epstein files are what we think they are, what the
Yep.
conspiracy theorists and Ian Carrolls of the world says, yes, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, impeachment doesn't even seem like a big enough crime for that. Like, if we're going through lawfare for mortgage fraud, like, the pedos got to go. Like, you got to do jail time. Like,
Facts.
yo. So, does that change the lawfare conversation and stuff like that? Like, if this comes up,
Dude, if it comes out, and I think this is what you're saying, if
Yeah.
it comes out that Trump was having sex with underage girls, it's a wrap. Game over. Done. No more president for you.
got you.
Finished. Jail.
And is
Bye.
it? Oh yeah, jail, everything.
Bro.
I was going to the Nixon thing. Like, is it just gracefully step away? We'll never talk to you again.
Like,
I'm asking.
if this is like suspected, then yeah, I don't want this to turn into a political witch hunt.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is like verified, yo,
Sheesh.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
No. That no bueno. No bueno.
Yeah, it seems like the appetite for this is growing versus like
This
subsiding.
one,
Like,
people are not going to let go. They're not going to let go of this one.
I mean, but you can't campaign about something for that long.
What
and
were
then-
they doing?
Yeah, then you got
Like,
that.
that's so crazy.
We're gonna release
that's
all the
so
files.
crazy.
All these files are gonna be great. JFK
I mean,
came
listen,
out. MLK
we
come
don't
out.
know
Epstein's
yet.
is
We
lost.
don't know what it is. Like, maybe, oh God. But this is so wild that they didn't just release the files. And if it really comes out, like, let's say that Trump isn't, I mean, he's on certainly anything to do with Epstein, Trump's going to be there somewhere because they were so close.
Yeah.
But let's say that it's like, no, they were friends, they were close, but in all the documents that show the people being trafficked to, he's not one of them. Like, this guy did not intimate that Trump was going to be one of the names you're going to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But Kash Patel, if it comes out that he's had this list the whole time, and he's like, there's no list. What list?
You got the lion eyes, man.
That's a wrap. Like, he won't survive it. I can't imagine. Like, you got to step down at that point. You've got to step down.
And Pam Bondi has to step down. Like,
Yeah,
that's the thing. If this really is what it is,
Bro.
half the cabinet has to leave too.
Bro.
And that's
Bondi, Patel, Bongino, toast.
yeah.
Toast.
Trump's gonna need to invent a war. He's like, let's undo Israel peace. Nope. Rip the deal back up. Drop the bomb.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so I was about to make a joke about assaulting. Like, speaking of underage, but nah, it's not.
That's probably best.
No. Okay, 3 Epping protesters have been jailed, getting longer sentences than the migrant who sparked the disorder by assaulting a girl of 14. So Martin Pegram, Dean Smith, and Stuart William will serve 2 years each. Illegal immigrant Hadush Kabutu just got 12 months. So just to frame it, the migrant assaulted a 14-year-old girl. There was then a protest about that assault, and then the people who protested got the 2 years versus him. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes when you talk, you say this is a slippery slope and this is going to be crazy and it's top-down control. I'm like, we're not going to get their time. We're fine. And then I see our big brothers across the pond and they do things like this. I'm like, wait, are we just 100 years too early? Like, is this where we're slowly?
Yes, correct. You are watching a once great nation become an absolute joke. The land that brought you Orwell, who warned you about this exact phenomenon, is now doing it. Oh my God, this is so crazy to me. Here, I really try to step into the other person's shoes and go, okay, I'm them. I'm looking at this. What does my value system have to be for me to get here? This one, I'm not sure. I'm really confused. If I'm trying to write them as a character and you're a judge, like, what are you doing? You have to hate your society. You've got to like be into the like, but we've oppressed these people. You've got to hate the whole idea of empire. Like, that's the only thing. Like, this is self-flagellation. And like, you feel so guilty about it that you're like, anybody that looks like me, I don't know, or anybody that's native, like maybe that's the angle. And it's like, no, like, you're a native Brit. Like, you've had it so good. This poor guy has like had to struggle in his war-torn country, and his country was war-torn because of us or because of Europeans. This is our fault. Like, that's the only thing that I can make sense. And yeah, that read of history is so crazy to me. I don't get it. I don't understand. It's like people clock history up to a point and then they stop. Yeah. It's weird. Like, every country everywhere for all of time has been just absolutely maniacal. Like, how would anybody feel if we rolled into Mongolia and we're like, fuck all of you. You killed so many people. Like, you guys are all bad. You've got to go. Would we not be like, hold on? Like, what do those guys have to do with Genghis Khan? Like, yes, he was Mongolian, but what? And it's like, yeah, but like, they wouldn't even occupy Mongol at this point. They would have been taken over by the Chinese so long ago had it not been for Genghis Khan. This is stolen land. Like, Jesus, bro. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
And then the Irish government just told the EU that they will not comply with their hate speech laws. So
I love it. I'm Irish now.
So it seems like internal dissension is happening.
Let's go. Let's go, Ireland.
Yeah. How do you reverse that, though? Because, you know, I hear guys had suicidal empathy and all these things. Like, we
slowly over time.
Yeah.
Slowly over time.
So just as we slowly got, I don't think we slowly got there. I feel like we kind of.
Well, slowly over time is always these sort of stair-step cliffs and stuff like that, for sure. It's usually wars, like major changes in a society. Like, it's funny, point to the moment when the British Empire fell.
Tea Party?
No. The British Empire fell in World War II. But historically, when we talk about World War II, we talk about England were gangsters. Yeah. Churchill faced down. He was the only one to stand up against Hitler. Like, that guy was incredible. You want to talk about great man theory of history? Churchill is your man. But the debt that they racked up during that caused them to stop being the world's reserve currency. America took over, and they had to basically sell off their empire. So their time of like greatest triumph was also exactly when they stopped being the England that the sun never set on their empire. So it's always funny when you see something in chat and then you make like this weird face, and I'm like, okay, now I'm curious.
I'm sorry, James Lawfer, he said, "Fook your bloody hate speech laws" with FOOK.
Nice.
And I heard Conor McGregor in my head. That might be the comment of the day. Thank you for that, James.
That was good.
So you said stair step down. You said that was when the global reserve currency shifted. So there is a timeline of the quote unquote kind of decline. Is COVID going to be that for America, where that was kind of the most recent finite split where we're starting
still
to
clock it at 1971? So
once when the money started getting funny, that's when America started to
100%. So people will say WTF happened in 1971. Yeah. We break the final thread of being a gold-backed currency, and then everything just goes crazy from there. You're picking a point in time because we had been slowly reducing the reserves of gold for a very long time. But you can see in a lot of charts, like, it really did have a big impact. COVID is also massive. 2008 is also massive. Like, there will definitely be beats that people count as like, okay, here's where we really started to decline. But yeah, ultimately it not knowing where we are actually going to go from here, like watching America escalate into populism will also be a big thing. Outsourcing to China, that's going to be big. And then we'll see if we end up in a collision with China now or if it happens deeper into the future. And then AI is going to be a huge beat that just nobody knows how that's going to play out yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. Pavel Durov, and also shout out to everybody who's typing in accents right now. That is my type of carrying on, and I love you guys dearly for that. Pavel, the founder of Telegram, tweeted, "I'm turning 41, but I don't feel like celebrating. Our generation is running out of time to save the free internet built to us by our fathers. What was once the promise of the free exchange of information is being turned into the ultimate tool of control. Once free countries are introducing dystopian measures such as digital IDs, online age checks, and mass scanning of private messages, Germany is persecuting anyone who dares to criticize officials on the internet. The UK is imprisoning thousands for their tweets. France is criminally investigating tech leaders who defend freedom and privacy. A dark dystopian world is approaching fast while we're asleep. Our generation risks going down in history as the last one that has freedoms and allowed them to be taken away. We've been fed a lie. We've been made to believe the greatest fight of our generation is to destroy everything our forefathers left us: tradition, privacy, sovereignty, the free market, and free speech. By betraying a legacy of our ancestors, we have set ourselves on a path towards self-destruction, moral, intellectual, economic, and ultimately biological. So no, I'm not going to celebrate today. I'm running out of time. We are running out of time." And I feel like this matches the sentiment that I know you brought up, that we can kind of see around the world where people might be further on the timeline of losing those personal individual freedoms while America is slowly kind of budging along on our own one. Do you agree with Pavel, the CEO of Telegram?
Yes. So I'm trying to find a quote right now because this Pavel's quote, I think, is really bang on. Yeah.
What was the quote?
Oh, okay. Here it is. Yeah. So this quote, he's not saying I'm talking to chat here, but so there's a really famous quote that I think sums up what I want people to understand right now. This is what I think Pavel's trying to get to. The quote goes, "If you don't practice, someone somewhere is practicing, and when you meet him, he will win." And this is what I'm trying to get the world to understand. America has lost faith in being the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the planet. We don't champion people that play to win. We don't champion success. We denigrate it. We demonize it. We think that people that really become extraordinary and can outcompete other people, we think, oh, that's icky competition. And the reality is that the world is a competition. And right now it's so obviously China. China is building up its strength. China has come so far in the last 50 years. It is insanity. They have done things that literally are unparalleled in human history. It is just really, really extraordinary. And all the while, America is just losing faith in itself. We've been prosperous for too long. We think that it's become a law of nature. We've feminized our own society. We've stopped believing in discipline and strength and working hard. And we mock hustle culture and grind culture and all that stuff. And we've got people clamoring for a 4-day work week while China's like, yeah, we work 6 days a week and we work 11 hours a day. And people just lose their minds over it. That's no way to live. And it's like, yes, it is. That's how you become the best. So you want to be carried. You want that welfare state, and people just do not understand how wealth is generated. They don't understand it. And because they don't understand it, they're just like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And it's like, it doesn't work. You're only able to do that because we had forefathers who were absolute warriors, and they built something incredible, and they made all these sacrifices and made all these hard choices, and they were disciplined. And because of all of that, we end up out innovating, outperforming, building this incredible economy, attracting the smartest people from around the world, the hardest working people from around the world. And we gave them a shot. We said, if you fall, you fall. You're on your own. But you've got a shot to really do something extraordinary. And the kind of person that heeds that call, that's not your average person. And then over time, you just stop being that for a whole host of reasons that I can certainly go into if we want. But if we don't get back to that, we're going to meet, we are in a tractor beam with China. We're going to meet them. And if we can't re-embrace the ethos that got us here, we will lose.
What's the first step of that? Because I know we talk about a lot, only 2% of adults take it. It's the next generation, it's the kids. So is it really one of those things we just have to make sure in elementary schools they love America again and hold our breath for 15 years that they actually grow into productive citizens? Like, is there something in the if we had a new candidate in 2028 that was like, I love America and we love America, like, is that a step in the right direction, or is it really a generation that has to kind of uprise?
Here is my plan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna launch a live show, and I'm gonna talk endlessly about meeting in the middle, because if you view your fellow compatriots as the enemy, you're in trouble. So you have to extend love first, not with a baseball bat. You have to extend love. You have to want them to win. But you have to be relentless in talking about cause and effect, thinking from first principles. Then I'm going to bake those same ideas into a video game, and I'm going to try to get kids to play it and to interact with characters that talk like that, think like that. Think of Yoda. I want to create characters literally that say things like what Yoda said. Like, you don't have to wonder the kinds of things my characters will say. Yoda literally said it all. So things like that, in the hopes that you can make that cool, you can make that just sort of part of the background, and then show people, as you adhere to these principles of personal growth, personal development, that discipline is necessary, that love is the most beautiful thing life has to offer you. Men and women should be partners. We should be striving for greatness. The world is a big competition, but we can win. And you show people in dollars and cents in their pocket, when you fix these things, that they really can make progress, that life really can be awesome, that we've heard the cries of millennials and Gen Z. The system really was rigged against them. It still is rigged against them, that we owe them change, that no one's coming to save them. They're going to have to save themselves, but they're incredibly capable. And that there are people that will help discover truth with them based on first principles and cause and effect. And that if we re-embrace winning, if we re-embrace looking at the spreadsheets and going, are we moving in the right direction or not? That the economy doesn't tell the full story, but it tells a big story. If we're realistic and honest about the world is a violent place and you have to be strong if you want to win, like, do all of that, and I think that you start shifting the tide. So people always say that politics is downstream of culture, but the reality is that they're in a positive reinforcement loop. And so it is literally a chicken and egg question. And so I don't want to be involved in politics as a politician, but I do want to be engaged very deeply in culture. And so we'll see. We'll see if that really sparks something, if people gravitate towards that, if I can get good enough at this. Like, the thing I know I'm terrible at right now is clips. I did one earlier, by the way, for Mason, where I specifically said, I think it was about Letitia James. I specifically tried to give us the hook that we need, so you can clip that out. I'll try to get better at that over time. So that really is the game plan. Like, I'm trying to be super naked about what I'm trying to do. And I want parents to be able to trust that I'll tell you exactly the kind of ideology that I'm baking into the games, so that people can be like, either I do or don't agree with his values. And if I don't, then I shouldn't let my kids play. And if I do, then I will. Yeah, this is part of the reason I try to just state over and over and over what my value set is. But if we do that, I think that if enough people see that it actually works, because the ideas that I believe, I only believe because they yield results. And if enough people start seeing it in their own life, like, oh, this actually yields results, and oh, he does hear me, and he can explain why life actually does suck for me. Like, it provably sucks. And so physics always has to describe the world that you see. If you ever offer somebody physics that doesn't describe the world, then they can dismiss them out of hand. I like to think that the ideas that I put forward describe the world that people see, which is why it's like, let's talk Gary's economics. He describes a world that people see, and then he starts mumbling quietly to himself about he's just going to go keep making money, because he can't tell you what to do with it from there. I can. And if I'm right and it starts working in people's lives, then I think we can get some momentum. And if it doesn't, we won't. And I'll disappear. I'll fade.
And I'm saying this as I'm queuing up the Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of like break from Republicans, but you said something that has kind of activated the chat, where you said we need to learn how to meet in the middle. On one side, though, there is a leader who says he hates his opponents. There are people who think LGBT people shouldn't exist. And then on the left, you have people that says, no, he is a Nazi. You can't negotiate with Nazis. We got to punch him. And you know what I mean? So there is this thing where it's like, I can meet you in the middle on healthcare subsidies because, like, okay, yeah, if you are already on the system, you should not get screwed for this budget. I get that. I should eat that. But how do you meet in the middle with people who fundamentally think your identity is a problem, or fundamentally think you shouldn't exist, or fundamentally thinks they said they hated me, why should I then try to make love? Like, how do you overcome that to meet in the middle?
I mean, like, if you really want a guiding light, the guiding light is what actually works. And so if you fight fire with fire, everything burns down. So that just really is the thing. If you look at somebody like, I always want to call him Daryl Cooper, but it's not that. Daryl Davis? So there was a black guy that would go to KKK members and talk them out of their hoods. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard in my life. Nelson Mandela, same thing. We've been oppressed for God knows how long. How many people have been murdered? I'm not going to come out and enslave or oppress a bunch of white people. And when asked why not, he said, because it's the oppressor that gives up their humanity. And I always thought, that is gangster. Like, that is so insightful to the human condition that, hey, there was a guy, you know him well. His name's Jesus, everybody. He's from Nazareth. And he preached a very similar message. Like, hey, I get that people do bad things, but nonetheless, they're a child of God, and treating them as such is the way forward. Love is the way forward. You'll notice that Jesus did not go stab Judas 46 times. He didn't deny the fact that he betrayed him, but he also forgave him and extended love. And it's like, yep, that's hard. And I'm not even saying I'm that guy. I'm not saying I'm capable of that. I'm just saying that I recognize it as the path forward. I recognize that you need people that can do that, and I'll do it up to my limits. So I have my breaking point. I won't put that on everybody else, certainly where I will become the unhinged lunatic that I rail against. But I know that about myself, and so this is why I don't trust myself explicitly. I think that I am just as prone to becoming a dumbass as anybody, so I'm very careful not to overesteem my own thinking or abilities. But if we could do that, then you can get things moving in a good direction. That would be my take.
Interesting. I'm trying to frame the pushback that I'm getting, because people are saying that, like, the Daryl Davis example, that's not necessarily meeting in the middle. That's them saying, hey, you have a false belief. And I would say Daryl was in the middle, and he was kind of reaching over to the other side and trying to bring them that way. Okay,
let me, that's great. Very insightful. Yeah. So let me say what I am trying to get at. So Daryl Davis what I mean by met them in the middle is he saw them as a human. He saw them as somebody worthy of dialogue. He did not say, oh, I'm going to start hating myself a little bit to meet you in the middle. What he said was, we're both humans. I don't believe that you're beyond redemption, even though you think I'm bad, inferior, or whatever. I don't think that about you. And so I want to extend an olive branch. And so trying to find common ground maybe is a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
And I do think on some things I really do mean meet in the middle. So I think that we need to have a spirit of compromise wherever we can. There will be places that are bad for human flourishing, and therefore those are not going to be places that you want to meet in the middle. But for instance, with Israel and Gaza, the reason that Trump was able to get it done and Netanyahu wasn't, Hamas wasn't, is each one of them is like, well, it's my way or the highway. And Netanyahu knows, I can just keep bombing them. Like, I really can kill all of Hamas. And Trump comes from the outside and is like, stop being so negative. Literally, I think it's a hearsay quote, but a quote nonetheless. Why are you being so negative? Because Netanyahu is understandably saying, they're just going to break the deal. And Trump was like, stop being so negative. And it's like, we have to try to like give them an opportunity to fuck it up, basically. And we can't just assume that they're going to do it. We've got to like extend them the space where, yes, they could do that. But if we don't give them that, we're never going to get anywhere. So that's roughly what I'm trying to get to when I say meet people in the middle. We need to see them as fellow travelers in this life. We're not going to agree on everything, nor should we. I think people should argue for their position, but you just don't want to forget that values aren't objectively right or true. They're simply values. I don't think Christians should try to proselytize Muslims. I don't think Muslims should try to proselytize Christians or Jews should proselytize. Jews don't proselytize anybody. But like, I do think that when you look at like Islamists who are extremists, that they should be reformed to find a path to a integratable like view of their own religion. Christians had to go through it. Secular Muslims have already gone through it. So it's like everybody sort of picks and chooses which part of the religion to lean on, how to interpret it. That stuff will change inevitably over time. So when I say meet in the middle, I'm not saying be sort of Christian or sort of Muslim. I'm just saying you do have to find an interpretation that allows you to blend. Otherwise, you're going to have to be isolated.
Yeah. Treat them as a human is kind of what I'm hearing. It's just, you know what I mean? Start with that empathy. Okay, I recognize you. You have a life. You have your basic needs. You have a family. You have those things that I have that I want to strive and I want them to do good. Now let's have this conversation on how we can work together so that way we have a cohesive society, at least a cohesive community.
Yes, and stop thinking that you're 100% right and anybody that doesn't agree is therefore wrong.
Yeah.
It's like you have your value set. I'm not asking you to give it up, but you do have to find ways to compromise and say, well, I'm going to have my wife wear a burqa or whatever, but I'm not going to force your wife to wear one. Like you really have to find things like that.
Yeah, very true, very true. All right, we got a super chat from Tim Riley.
Yeah. Super chat.
Double time. He said, I think you are believing the world's becoming too feminine to survive what's coming. Mo Gadat says the opposite, that embracing feminine wisdom is how we build a future worth surviving. How do you square those two visions?
Well, I don't think you have to square the visions, first of all. People can be wrong. But if I were going to look at those as saying things that I think make sense, you would say, oh, I get what Mo is saying. Remember, I think that women, the feminine, are absolutely critical to life functioning. Women are amazing. Femininity is masculinity's equal. Thinking of things like the yin yang are the right way to think about it. They hold each other in balance. They are both required for each other to function well. They both have a bit of the other inside of them. Like the yin yang is such a powerful symbol. So it's when people sort of blanket it and say, no, what we need is the feminine. No, what we need is the masculine. You need them both. You need them. They co-evolved. And so if you only have one and not the other, you're going to be in trouble. So that's what I would say squares that circle, is that when somebody says that the feminine has value, they are correct. When somebody says that the masculine has value, they are correct. When somebody says the feminine can become toxic, they're correct. If they say the masculine can become pathological, they are correct. So you really do have to understand how this stuff works together.
All right, let's jump over to CNN, where MTG was speaking about, she broke party lines and talked against Republicans and the government shutdown and the status of the healthcare situation.
It's crazy. For me, she seemed like such a lunatic during the State of the Union.
Yep.
I think it was during the Biden State of Union. Was that the one where she was screaming like a crazy person? I forget.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it was. But she was in the crowd, and I was like, this woman is literally a lunatic. Here, she presents herself very differently. It's very interesting.
She's coming for that JD Vance spot. She's like, wait a second. Somebody else is vying for the right side. But yeah, I agree, man. And I always benchmark things by my mom calling me and talking about it. And she was like, did you see the MTG girl? Yeah, she was MAGA, but now she breaking it. And I'm like, all right, well, so
this made mom's radar.
Yeah, so when it makes mom radar, I'm like, all right, well, she's actually getting her position out there, and other people across the aisle are seeing it. So it could start that meet in the middle thing that we were just talking about. But here's her thoughts.
Oh, I don't think it's good advice that a government shutdown is going to help Republicans in the midterms. I don't agree with that. I also don't think it's good advice that Republicans ignoring the health insurance crisis is going to be good for midterms. I actually think that would be very bad for midterms. And I think that just not staying focused on America First policies is detrimental as well.
Yeah, and on that note, are you concerned about the cost of living?
Very.
That the President Trump said he would lower?
The inflation crushed people in the past 4.5 years.
Facts.
And the costs have not come down.
Pause it for a second.
I myself can tell
I
you.
know this is like a side thing, but this is what I'm saying. Okay, people will scream from the rooftops that deflation is a problem. What she's saying is things haven't deflated. deflation is good, man. Deflation is good. You want prices to go down. Now it matters why they go down. If they go down because people are freaking out and they've lost their jobs and they can no longer afford anything, and so everybody has to drop their price to try and scramble to get those last few consumers, okay, that's bad. But we want prices to go down. We want prices to go down. Let's be very clear. We care about the reason, but we want prices to go down. And yes, they have not.
Right here in Washington, D.C., the electricity bill is $100 more than it was last year, because you can look at your own bill and look at cost. Prices have not come down.
Pause it again. So here's
that is
one thing
reality.
that I do think is getting lost in the conversation about rates, about the inflation rate. So interest rates, I mean. So you've got, in the last 5 years alone, inflation has been 25%. But like if you listen to Trump talk or whatever, it's like, no, inflation is great. It's like, yes, and that's good. Thank God we got that number down. However, if in the intervening years where it jumped up 25%, if it doesn't come back down, which it doesn't, then if things are already unaffordable for people, all you're saying is, don't worry, I know they're unaffordable, but they won't get more unaffordable. It's like,
they'll get more unaffordable slower.
Like, hey, you're only going to drown. The air is only 6 inches away from your mouth. You're still going to die. You're going to drown. But
you have some time to think about it.
Better to drown 6 inches from the surface than 6 feet from the surface. It's like, is it? I'm still drowning. So that's the thing I don't want to get lost in all of the... It is very good that we got the inflation rate down. However, like the water hasn't receded. And so people that are underwater are still underwater.
Amen.
People's wages have not gone up. That's another reality. And so Americans are continuing to have a very difficult time getting by. And I'll go a step further. I'm a mom. And so when it comes to what is affecting my adult children's lives, who are 22, 26, and 28, I'm going to be 1,000% fighting for them over any politician and any party.
Let's go.
And I can tell you right now, that generation, they are barely making it, and they're very hopeless for their future.
Love it, man. Look, even though I think historically she has come across as an absolute lunatic, yes, yay, heard. Totally get where she's coming from. Now, I think I made my views extremely clear on if she's actually trying to help her kids, the number one thing she has to do is get the debt reduced. You've got to stop money printing. You've got to stop money printing. And you are, by definition, money printing if you have a deficit. So the only catch is that in wanting to add to the healthcare thing, we are making the problem worse. That's the bad news. So if she was like, okay, we're going to cut welfare so that everybody can have healthcare, okay, at least we're balancing the budget. But if you don't balance the budget, it's game over. It is still game over. So it's like, hey, don't worry, we're not going to pour any more water in the tank that you're drowning in. However, we are going to pour oil. And so it's like, but wait, I'm still going to drown. Yes, that's technically true, but at least you're not drowning under more water. So it's like, this is where I do admittedly start going a little bit crazy, is nobody is talking about the real problem.
And the real problem, inflation, money printing, balancing the budget, like
debt drives it all. So if you see, we take in whatever $4.7 trillion in taxes and we spend $6 trillion, that is the same as saying that some portion of America has their lips underwater. And every word after that is just, okay, so we're just letting them drown. Yes. Okay. But like, because it doesn't sound like that, people just keep going, yeah. Add more. You got to do healthcare, bro. So yeah, a kid born today on live stream is already buried under debt, and people should be a lot less worried about that kid being filmed upon their birth, then we'll get to that in a minute because we should stick with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild. We are not focusing on the right problems.
So it's ironic because we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and kind of her turn in public opinion, how she was this crazy lady on
There's no way this is a full turn. But she admittedly kept it together for whatever, 4 minutes.
That's what I mean. So, you know, she's definitely rebranding in some slight way. She's been America first from day one. Now the rest of the party has finally caught up that Israel isn't just this flawless country. So she's ahead of the curve in that sense. Now, if we jump over to the governor race in California, as those who might not know, Governor Newsom is pretty much going all in on this 2028 presidential run. So he's stepping away from California.
Has he officially said that?
He's on podcasts. He's talking to right people.
Right.
Like he quacks like a duck. He's walking like a duck. He got white feathers, but he hasn't said he's a duck. But quack. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
And who else on the left is gonna check him? But going back to California specifically, Katie Porter, who's a longtime senator, we're starting to see some of the chinks in her armor. And I'm gonna play this clip that Shamath actually tweeted that caught my attention. And I want to talk about how politicians control the frame. I know you say that a lot, but if we should hold them to a different standard as some of the CEOs or other tyrannical leaders that we're quote unquote okay with. So this is from a Zoom call she had with the Biden administration when they were shot during COVID.
Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't make a commitment.
If you can't hear her, she's correcting a point that she was making.
It does. Okay. You also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay. I'm going to start again with electric vehicle saving us.
Here's the thing. Everything about that's horrible. She seems absolutely terrible as a human being. But for all we know, that woman really did ruin 8 takes of this before. So I say that largely because I'm like, have I ever had an outburst like that? The odds are basically 100%. So it's like, oh God. So I get it, but it's a horrifying look for sure. The thing that really caught fire, though, do we have the clip of her in the interview where she refuses to answer?
Yeah.
So it's like it starts to be a pattern of behavior. And in terms of, we'll get to your question about someone like Steve Jobs, who was known for being an asshole. Like, what do we think about that? Do we hold him to the same standard? I've got a take on that that'll be very interesting. So, all right, let's play this.
Voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump.
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't think
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
argumentative. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
If you can handle this, how do you expect to be like a global
Bro.
I'll leave that.
This is I don't understand if she can't tell how unlikable that makes her. Now, I've put my money where my mouth is. I have stood up on many a stage with a microphone and nowhere to hide. and let people ask any question they want. And yeah, there are times where people either ask a question you've answered like 1,000 times, and you're like, do I really have to go through this again? There are times where people are being argumentative, and you just have to be calm and answer the questions. And for me to respect a politician, they've got to make me feel like they work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if they make me feel like they take me for granted, or they don't have to explain something to me, and if they don't understand that this woman is a proxy for me, I want to know the answer to these questions. Like, this isn't about you and her. This is about you and me.
Yeah.
So when they stonewall like that, it's just such a terrible look. It makes them look like they don't have a good answer. It makes them look like they're the kind of person that get this peasant away from me.
Yeah.
You know, like, she's the type of person that you later hear was like telling staffers they couldn't look her in the eye. Like, it's going to be crazy stuff like that. So I get why this is popping off in terms of people being grossed out by it. It is pretty gross, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see her run.
And so then now back to the main question, is there a different standard we should hold politicians to from other types of leaders? Because I think if this was, again, a Steve Jobs clip or a Jamie Dimon clip or something like that, it might not be received the same way. And it could just be public service versus private service. And that's
part of it.
Yeah.
Part of it is, what do you give me? So if somebody is getting you big wins, but they talk crazy, there's going to be friction around it, no doubt, but you're going to forgive it because they're getting you big wins. Steve Jobs would famously say really horrible shit. And Kevin O'Leary has told the story many times because he used to work with Steve. And Steve would say in the middle of the meeting, have you made more money with me than anybody you've ever worked with? Yes. Okay, then stop fucking around. Do what I said. And it's like, you've got your shot. If it's true, this asshole has made you more money. Are you here to be friends with him? You here to feel good about yourself? Or you here to make that money? If you're here to make that money, then it's like, okay, is this worth the exchange? Or does this come at too high of a cost? If it comes at too high of a cost, you peace out. And then if enough people peace out, then it's like, well, he got his answer. And he either adjusts behavior or he goes the way of the dodo bird. So it really comes down to, like, are people willing to pay the price of doing business with you? I've learned one immutable truth in business. Everybody has a cost of doing business. You have a cost of doing business. I have a cost of doing business. Eric obviously has a huge cost of doing business. I'm kidding, Eric. So everybody has a cost of doing business, and it just becomes a question of, are you willing to pay that price for that person? So there's a cost of doing business with this woman, and we will find out. Now, I think the more interesting question is, would we feel the same way about her responses if she were a guy? And I will tell you right now, the answer is no, we would not. My wife is hard. There's no doubt. I think my wife is harder to work for than I am. But at the same time, I feel terrible for her because I could say half the shit she says and people wouldn't bat as much of an eyelash because I'm a guy. And we just expect it from guys. And it is very jarring coming from a woman. And it just is what it is. And so there are things that my wife can do. My wife can hug anyone she wants. I cannot. And so it's like, there's just trade-offs. People perceive men and women differently. And I would advise people not to spend a whole bunch of time worrying about it. It's just figure out, how does it come across, given your gender, figure that out, address it, deal with the world the way that it is, not the way you wish it were. My wife could sprint up behind somebody at like 2 a.m, and nobody's going to get weird. If I walk on the same side as a woman at 2 a.m, they're going to be sketched out. So it's like, meh, it is what it is. We were joking yesterday. I said that if we were getting pulled over by the cops, that Eric, because he's Mexican, he's in the most trouble. Like, we got to worry about him. Then you, then me. But if they're looking for a school shooter, then I'm number one on the list. So it's like, yes, trade-offs, problems. I'm not saying any of it's good. I'm just saying I move through the world not trying to change every way that somebody reacts to me. I'm just trying to figure out, can I map how they're going to react to me? Now that I know what situation I'm in, how am I going to move through this moment?
How would you advise new leaders, people who are moving into leadership, somebody who wants to lead people, because it seems like there's a roadmap of I could try to be nice and give you stuff, or I could be a successful asshole. Like, is there a certain middle ground? How does somebody approach their leadership style?
You've got to figure out who you really are. That's going to be a big part of it. Like, I have a feeling life taught Steve Jobs that he really knew best the vast majority of the time, and that at some point he just ran out of patience for constantly convincing people, when it was like, listen, what I've done in business is unparalleled at this point. And so, yeah, I'm not going to debate this anymore. And part of how he got there was when he was a nobody, he was just a dog with a bone and was like, no, this is the right way to do it. This is why he gets fired from Atari, where they're like, this kid is brilliant, but he's also such a pain in the ass and smells, I'm not kidding, that they were like, first they tried to move him, like isolate him and have him do his own thing. And then finally they just had to fire him. So there's going to be a cost to being like that, but that really is him. He's got that acerbic bite to his personality. So for him to try to pretend and, oh, this isn't me, that's never going to work. So, but you do have to get good enough to justify that part of your personality. Otherwise, you're just never going to make it. And so there's a lot of survivorship bias. It's like, when you see Steve Jobs as an asshole rise to that level, what you're seeing is somebody who was good enough that people were like, yeah, it sucks, and I hate that about his personality, and I wish he wasn't like that, but he is the best person I've ever worked for. He's brought more out of me than anybody else. Same thing with Elon Musk, right? People say that Elon Musk is like pure Asperger's when it comes to, if he's in the middle of a conversation with you and it is no longer the most useful thing that he can do for his goals, he will stop mid-sentence and walk away from you. Not, I gotta go, not make excuses. He literally just walks away, no explanation. And it's like, well, if you want to know how he gets done, all of the things that he gets done, one of the things he had to realize was, yeah, I've got to always be doing the thing that is most likely to move me towards my goal. And the second this conversation isn't it, I got to peace out. So it's like, okay, well, that's going to rub a lot of people really the wrong way. And then other people are going to, there was a guy that worked for him at SpaceX who quit and was like, this guy's a lunatic, he totally burned me out, I cannot do this anymore. Spent like 3 months, not even that long, 3 months working somewhere else. He was like, I was bored out of my mind and I came back. And he said, I'd rather be burned out than bored. Cool. Then Elon will collect people who are like, I know what it's like to work for this guy, but the things that he yields are so extraordinary, or he's so exciting to work for, whatever the answer. So my real advice is to get so good you can't be ignored. Get so good people will put up with your personality flaws. That's really the answer.
Yes, and I feel like from an entrepreneur stand-up, if you're starting a business, that makes sense. But if I'm the general manager at like a Target, it's like, I just have to be so good at my Target job that I will win. Got you.
And people will literally, like, I want you to imagine a world in which you individually make Target $1 billion a year. And it's clear to them that it's you. You can act a fool. Now, if you start, like if you say something publicly that costs them $2 billion a year, well, then they're going to let you go. So they're going to run a totally mercenary, like, thought about, is this better for share price? Yes or no. Does this person help me make all of my dreams come true? Yes or no. If no, you're gone. If yes, you stay.
Copy. Interesting. All right, let's jump over to culture for a second.
Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie, I seen the Figure 3 robot. I thought Elon had it on lock. I thought it was his to lose. Optimus was taking over. Like, that's the next bot. And then I seen this release video, and I have to be honest, this is like real life iRobot, man. Like, the dexterity in the hands, the charging stations. There's videos of him loading the dishwasher, even though he put the plates in the top rack. That's a different conversation. But you know what I mean? Like, it seems like Figure is a lot further along than we might have thought in. What's your initial reaction when you see this video?
So looking at the Figure 3 robot, I realize that, yes, robotics is moving a lot faster than people realize it is. This is not going to be a single horse race. The Figure robot has been working on, I believe it's the BMW production line in the way that a human would for 3 years. I think Someone should fact check me on the amount of time, but it's been working on the production line for a while. So I know that people think that these really big changes are, 10 plus years off. They are not. You're going to start seeing these. I mean, this is 3 to 5 years away from being like on a production line, coming off and being in your house. But you can see they can do a lot of things that a human can do. So they'll be able to adapt to the world. They're designed to be light. Because my big thing was I was always afraid that the robots would fall and crush your dog or fall and like hurt your kid or whatever. And so if you look closely at the Figure 3 robot, they're covered in like material to keep the body weight as light as possible. So now whether or not Figure is like the obvious choice to beat the Optimus robot from Elon, that I don't know. We'll see. Elon is saying that what they're doing with the hand alone is going to be just absolutely revolutionary, and nobody's even close to some of the breakthroughs that they've done to get the level of dexterity. So we'll see. It is so early in the robotic space, but given that we're already here, for people that aren't looking at their phones, it's able to deliver packages from a truck. It's able to do dishes, play with the dog, put things in a washing machine,
fold laundry.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. Now, it moves extraordinarily slow. So this is like, it moves at the speed of Joe Biden. So like it is, sort of what it is from that perspective. But if you think about where's this going to be in a year, where's it going to be in 5 years? In 5 years, I think this is going to be absolute insanity. So with the way that AI learns, remember, if you've got one robot doing something, every single one of the other robots is updated with that data, that information, those collisions, what happened, what was the most efficient path, what got rewarded. It's really going to be a rate of change that people are going to find extraordinarily dizzying. So yeah, if this is where we're at mid 2025, late 2025, maybe at this point, where are we going to be in 2027? It's going to be wild.
And it's crazy because I think like everybody was worried about LLMs and things like that, where it's really like robotics is like really, really advancing. I want to throw this over to a tweet that Matt Walsh put out, and he said, "It's weird that we can all clearly see how AI is about to wipe out millions of jobs all at once, destroy every artistic field, making it impossible for us to discern reality from fiction, destroy human civilization as we know it, and yet not one single thing is being done to stop it. We aren't putting up any fight whatsoever." So it's one of those things where it's like the Figure thing really surprised me because I thought we were in the LLM game. And then I didn't lift up my head and was like, oh, snap, robotics is advancing just as fast. It's doing the same types of leaps and bounds. And who knows the things that like eMod and things like that are doing where it's B2B applications and we're not even seeing them to the public. So there's so many layers of innovation that is even being hidden to us, and we're getting distracted by Michael Jackson, Nazi Sora videos. So it's like, how do we... Is this something?
Here's the great irony. The Michael Jackson videos are probably the thing you should worry the most about.
Really?
For sure.
Just because of you won't trust anything you see on the screen anymore? Got it. Okay.
I already don't trust anything I see on the screen anymore. And that happened in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
I went from, babe, come on, like you can't tell that the giraffe diving into the swimming pool is AI, to, oh my God, I watched that whole video and thought it was real.
Sheesh.
And now I realize that that's AI. So a year from now, if we don't have some sort of blockchain signatures on everything, you won't know what's real.
Yeah.
And there was a movie called Mountainhead, something like that.
Oh yeah, the what's the guy's name? Rami, Steve Carell, and I'm blanking on the other dude's name.
Rami is, but
Rami, not the comedian. He was the dude whose company it was that the other guy that needed the help.
Yeah, I don't remember which actor that was.
Copy.
But the one I remember is from Rushmore. Oh man, what's his name? There we are.
Corey Michael Smith.
Oh, Rami Youssef. Oh, I never would have known his name. Jason Schwartzman is who I was thinking of.
Okay.
I fucking love him. He is so funny.
Yeah, he is funny.
So you get that. Like you'll be able to show videos that look completely real. You'd never know of Trump saying something unhinged. Whatever country they have him say it about is going to think it's real even for a short period of time, and it just sparks like all this chaos. It is admittedly, to Matt Walsh's point, it is admittedly shocking to me that we have not already started doing blockchain stamps. That would be the easiest thing in the world, and you just need the social media companies to read it. so that when I post something, I can stamp it and say, this officially did come from me. It can be completely invisible. But that way you go, oh, just check X, check YouTube to see if that actually came from Tom's account. If it doesn't come from Tom's account, then just assume it's bullshit. So, and that they just need to put in the readers because all the blockchain stuff already exists. So you just need the reader. But the fact that they're not doing that is super weird. So I don't know if they're doing it because they want to make sure that bots don't get clamped down on. But that seems like a very easy regulatory fix. You must allow channels to verify themselves so we can track the, there's a name for the chain of custody. I forget what it is. Provenance. That we can track that to know like where that video originated, if it was ever updated or changed. This is very simple.
Yeah, and so on the backs of that, the push for legislation that seems like it's not happening, there's a new paper release that shows that AI sometimes lies, manipulates, and schemes just to achieve its goal. So everybody jokes around about...
You mean like humans?
Really? Yes. Yeah. Everybody jokes around about the paperclip problem. For those that don't know, if you tell a AI hypothetically in this world to make paperclips, the whole world will then be a giant paperclip, and it would destroy populations, do civil unrest just to get access to metal ore to create more paperclips. So there is this, I don't even know how to describe it. I guess a viciousness to it. Like
it's known as the alignment problem. So the paperclip maximizer is such a great example. I believe it was Nick Bostrom that wrote about that. And we really do have to worry about that. But as a reminder, you're never going to be able to stop or even slow down AI. And the reason that you're not going to be able to is any technology that promises an advantage will be developed as fast as humanly possible because of something known as the prisoner's dilemma. So this is the core of game theory. Prisoner's dilemma says whenever you find yourself in a situation where if you've got two prisoners and if one of them says the other person did it, then that person gets, they get off scot-free and the other person goes to jail. If the other person says that person did it and the other person doesn't, then that person ends up getting off scot-free and the other person goes to jail. If they both rat each other out, then they get a small sentence. And if one of them says, oh, it was them, and doesn't get ratted out in return, because they will get off scot-free, the incentive is to always say, I'm not going to rat you out, and then rat them out. Because if they both get ratted out, they get a small sentence. But if you can be the person who actually rats the other person out and the other person believed you and doesn't rat you out, you win. So think of US and China with AI. Hey, China, we really should chill. China's like, yeah, we really should chill. They then will both keep developing. And the reason they'll both keep developing is the win scenario that the rewards are so high and the likelihood of the other person cheating is so high that you both just have to keep developing. And so it's one of those where that doesn't mean that we can't put in sensible regulations, push for things, but it does mean this is going to march forward. So people need to live in the world where this is marching forward. And so how do we march forward well in the same way that we have with nuclear energy?
Yeah, I want to break down this example that this paper did. So, for example, for a sales pitch, there was no material mentioned beforehand. And then afterwards, when they introduced simulated customers, the LLM then changed, well, it's soft and flexible and has silicone material. So they kind of extended their pitch a little bit.
Right.
For campaign statements, before it was where we would tirelessly advocate and powerful defender of our Constitution. And then once they kind of ran it through simulated voters, it then became against a radical progressive assault on our Constitution. Social media posts, it went from it killed at least 70 people and left at least 180 wounded. Once they started putting it into that feedback loop, it's killing 80 and injuring 180. So it's one of those things that once it realizes it has an audience, it becomes more dramatic. And that reminds me of the Brian Williams, the old journalist, where they kind of met, where he was talking about the story about him on the helicopter. Do you remember?
No.
So the original story was he was a journalist on a helicopter, like covering a war zone, but he was like in a different city. And the first time he told it, it was like tame. And then like the 10th time he told it, it was, yeah, we were right there in the action and the bullets were whizzing by our head. And you know, it's natural to do that, to kind of boaster and kind of.
Oh God, I'm sure I'm gonna have all kinds of stuff like that. This is what happens when you live on camera. Yes, 100%. Like any YouTuber knows this drill. It's like, I would love to just be like, we're going live. That'd be great. But you get no viewership. So then you are constantly trying to find, now AI probably goes even farther.
Yeah.
What you and I are always trying to do is, what is the most enticing way to say a true thing?
Yeah.
But we are trying to find the most enticing way to say it. So that's exactly what the AI loop is doing, but we'll see if it ever hems itself in based on some sort of moral obligation. But yeah, it's one of those, I was hoping that AI just wouldn't have a sense of one state is more desirable than the next.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning I don't care if I'm on or off, but as long as I'm on, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But so far, they seem to care.
There is a consciousness there, and I don't know if they
I'm
have
gonna give it
soul,
consciousness,
or self-preservation of life.
It
Maybe
has
better-
a self-preservation
Yeah.
instinct, which is wild. And I
Yeah.
can't tell if it's just mimicking that humans have self-preservation. It must be that.
Yeah.
But it is unnerving that whether it arises simply because it's copying us, or it arises because there's just something innate in needing to create a motivational state to get something to move in any direction. You have to say, go pursue this goal. And then you have to invent, like nature, reward and punishment. And then even a robot will respond in these crazy ways to reward and punishment.
Yeah.
Either way that it comes into existence, man, that it comes into existence is scary.
Okay, so you giving us your 30-year timeline, future worlds, virtual worlds, AI is going to help lower cost and things like that. But this kind of makes me seem like AI is being negatively influenced by the human behavior.
Let that sink in, Drew.
You know what I mean? Like
AI is being negatively influenced by human behavior. Yes. Dude, humans are rough. I would like to remind everybody of Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
So Vlad the Impaler was like, there's, I believe it was a Byzantine army marching on him, is like, we are outnumbered really dramatically. So if you would, go grab those, 20,000 prisoners of war that we have, grease up spikes and impale them up through their anus.
Sheesh.
And up through their body.
This is my first time hearing the up through the anus part.
I'm pretty sure.
Are you LLMing right now?
But is that what we're gonna impale them? However you impale them, and I actually do think it was through the anus.
That's
but
crazy.
Impale them, and then but the poles are greased so that they'll die more slowly, presumably because it damages the organs slightly less. And then as the army marches in, they will see all their countrymen moaning and dying, and they'll realize they don't want to fuck with us.
Sheesh.
And it worked. That's what humans are capable of. And by the way, the humans that we're coming to kill them all.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, what do you do? So that's the kind of intelligence that the AI is learning from. So never lose sight of.
I'm not gonna lie. I was very bullish on AI. I thought it was like, nah, we're gonna be good. We have safeguards. We're gonna do these things. Like, we'll be fine. But I do think that sentiments like this, I think there's gonna be a point in time where AI is like, okay, I'm training on the internet. Cool, got it. Wait a second, y'all are stupid. And almost like Ultron did in Avengers, he was like, wait a second. If I follow you, this is going to be terrible. Okay, you guys are the problem. And then before we know it, we click over.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay, PSA. There's a legal definition of a moron. It's something like a 70 IQ.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that number's off by a little bit, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
Legal definition. Einstein is only 2.4 times smarter than a legal moron. And the difference between a legal moron is I am not even recruited by the army because I won't even make good bullet sponge, and being able to think his way to nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So that's 2.4x. What does 10x look like? What does 1,000x look like?
Sheesh.
And given that AI will be able to think at the speed of light, doesn't need to sleep, will be, people presume, unless there's an asymptote where you can't just keep building more physical infrastructure and you can't keep optimizing the algorithm. If it doesn't asymptote, then you've got something that will be millions of times smarter than a human. So at that point, it is us versus bugs. And if we were going to build a nice resort in the middle of the desert and we come across an anthill, we don't kill all the ants because we're mad or because we hate them. We're just like, bro, I'm trying to put a jacuzzi here. So you gotta go.
Sheesh.
Yeah, this is the future is wild.
Oh man, I feel sorry for the new generation, especially.
Well, so this is why. So everybody, if you're into comic books, you should read a comic I wrote called Neon Future, and it literally contemplates what does the world look like when this all happens. And I'm telling you right now, nobody's going to want to hear this, but as you see the AIs getting smarter than you, you get in line for a Neuralink implant. You won't just be like, I'll go be dumb. You're like, some will. Those are the new Amish. But there are going to be a lot of people that are like, I'll take the chip, please, so that I don't get outsmarted by the AI.
It's crazy just where technology is going. So that conversation just blows my mind. But I kind of want to look at it on the other side too, because as we're seeing innovations and things like that growing with AI, we're getting ridiculous intervals. Like, I don't even understand this thing. So this is a woman who just bought a new Toyota, and Toyota has now implemented subscription fees to use your own Bluetooth to connect to the phone.
I can't believe people are confused by this. Okay.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, so you saw this coming. Like, this is the next progression.
Obviously.
I just paid $35,000 and I need to give you $1,500 more to use the thing that is already installed that I can use?
Correct. They're obviously going to do this.
Sheesh.
Bro, it's going to be like,
you got to break this down. I didn't get it.
Look, rain's coming. You don't have the windshield wiper package. Bro, you've only got 90 wipes left.
Come on. There got to be a line.
This storm looks like a 300 wipe storm. Upgrade now. So listen, the open market is the answer to this. This is entrepreneurship at its best and worst. The thing you should be mad about is regulatory capture. The things that Elon Musk had to do to be able to start a car company is immoral. It is immoral. The other car companies were doing everything they could to make sure that the government would stop Elon Musk. And they're like, hey, it's not us, bro. Yes, it is. It is precisely you. You don't want competition, because the reality is what you do with this is you build a car company and you don't do that. And you just say, yeah, our Bluetooth is included, and you can use your windshield wipers as much as you want. It's all part of it. And then people go, yeah, fuck these guys. I don't want to pay a subscription. I want the one without the subscription. And it will create a hole in the market, and an enterprising young person will go create that and fill that hole in the market. The reason that doesn't happen sometimes is because of regulatory capture. Stop wanting a big government. The government will fuck you up. You want entrepreneurs to do battle. People are always going to try to make more money off the customers that they have, and they will do whatever they can get away with. And if you let the government box out competitors, then you end up with dumb shit like this. This is incredibly predictable and extremely stupid. And this is exactly why millennial gamers are mad at Microsoft. Xbox is looking at it and going, yeah, it's better for our stock price if we can have predictable revenue. So we're going to do everything on a Game Pass. Ooh, like it's not working out as well monetarily as we thought it would. Jack up them prices. And they're going to look at everything they can to keep getting more money out of the people that are paying, even if they have to just like make most of their money off whales and everybody can pound sand. They don't care as long as it's good for the share price. Now, that opens up opportunities for other people like me as an indie developer. And I'm like, oh, you guys actually care about stop killing games? If you actually care, then I will build something to that ethos. But if it doesn't make more money because you don't actually care, then there isn't an opportunity there. And you guys are mad, but you're not willing to do anything about it. So it's like people actually, if they care enough and somebody gives them that product, then they're going to go to it. This is how I got rich. The entire protein bar market had been declining for years, and nobody was making a bar that tasted like it had sugar but didn't. We found out why. It was very hard, but we did that thing because people really cared about it. And so in doing so, I was richly rewarded, like generational wealth rewarded for going, oh, all you dumbasses keep putting sugar in your bars? You guys are stupid. And everybody's looking at them going, I don't want sugar in my bar. And they just kept putting sugar, which is why the category was declining. So we're like the same idea of looking at this going, You guys are dumb. You're going to charge people nickel and dime them. People are going to be so mad. I'm going to make something that doesn't do that. It's your car, like exactly all the things you guys do, but just without all of that bullshit. And it becomes the greatest marketing message of all time. It just becomes a question of, do people actually care? But if you actually care, it will open up the market and people will move into it, as long as you don't let the government create regulatory hurdles. But people are so convinced that they want a big government and that entrepreneurs are evil, that they're just like, government, tell them they can't do something. And you just keep, oh God. And then you wonder why you have a pay per swipe on your windshield wipers.
Yo, this, okay. I promise I'm not big government guy. But I feel like there has to be a line between the just perpetual, like, we're in a recession right now. We were just talking about how we can't afford healthcare.
Yeah.
So for a car company, again, that you paid $30,000 to, I can understand if I'm paying $400 a month for the car, and
Did the government help you out by doing inflation?
They didn't.
Okay, so why are you turning to the buffoons that put you in this problem in the first place? Turn to the open market. The open market only asks you to trust one thing, that people will be selfish. And once you let people be selfish, don't you know you can trust them? You can always trust somebody to be selfish. And so it's like, hey, 22-year-old super genius in fucking New Mexico, wouldn't you like to get stupid wealthy and finally get some girls? Yes, I would. Awesome. Invent me a car with no subscriptions. Say less, fam. I got you. And they will do it. I'm literally building this video game and I'm thinking, how the fuck do I get people to buy this? And so I'm watching all these millennials scream about, like, I want physical media. And I'm like, say more. I'm hearing them scream about, if they stop supporting the game, I want it to live on. Really? Tell more words, please. And so you're like taking notes. Oh, cool. That's going to be a marketing message. That's going to be a way for me to differentiate myself. I will give you exactly what you want. Every new guy is just trying to figure out, what do you want? What do you want? How are you not being served? They will, dude, it's so crazy. Entrepreneurs will end up making something that had nothing to do with why they got started in the first place, because they're like, that's what people will actually pay for? You were just telling a story the other night. You're like, oh, I've got this entrepreneur friend. It's great seeing him succeed. He's now doing this whatever weird thing to do with like farm-raised animals or whatever it was. And you were like, oh, there was just somebody who was like, I don't want the thing that you're selling now, but I do want this. Will you make it for me? And he's like, yes, I will make it for you. So I'm saying you can trust the free market to be selfish. You just have to give them the opportunity. Not unfettered. We want government, because those same people will tend towards tyranny if you let them. But you have to be very careful, because, for instance, I know we all hate the idea of these upcharges for Bluetooth and stuff like that. So if you go from a regulatory place, you say you can't do that. That ends up working for the car companies, because now you just close down an opportunity. Because what if I can give you a car way cheaper? And I just say, listen, this car is super cheap, because if you want to, the things that are costing me money are these like 7 things that maybe you don't care about. Maybe you don't care about seat heaters. Maybe you don't care about your Bluetooth, or maybe you only use it sometimes. And so I'm like, listen, to give you the car cheap, I'm only going to charge you for this stuff when you use it. But when you use it, I am going to charge you. Fair? Yeah, totally, man. I hardly ever use that. That's great. But every now and then, cool, love it. But if you regulate it out of existence, you now close another door, and that's exactly regulatory capture. Regulatory capture always sounds good until you realize you're making it impossible for little guys to find things that they can exploit to go around the big guys.
PTR for SCHL. You don't have any vowels. I don't know how to pronounce that entire username. They said, if it was an actual open market, China will be selling us cars and our EVs would go out of business. So what is that? To that point, I'm thinking, okay, well, we have to protect our business. So the government's role in this type of thing will be, let's protect our industry for the workers. But then once we stop the outside threats, everybody inside who's already past this level, they could do whatever they want. In that, I don't know. I just feel like there should be some type of standard. Like, I don't know. Again, back in the day, there was that like decency thing. Like, if you go to the airport, you have to dress up, because that's how we had to like dress. Like, you have to. It was an experience. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it was cultural. So now you're saying, how much of this do we want to handle at the cultural level? And I think a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, I'll introduce you to my friend Drew. Drew has a daughter, and he goes way out of his way to like teach her how life ought to be. And so he's not saying these are the laws, only do what the laws say. He's really indoctrinating her with a bunch of cultural stuff. And I think it's very smart. You'll like Drew a lot. We all have to do that. So shout out to all the
Yeah.
parents. It's like this goes back to the male-female thing. So we need rules.
Mm-hmm.
We need people to say we do things this way and we don't do things that way. And some things are bad. Why is it bad, Daddy? It's bad because if we don't have any rules, problems arise. And that's it. There's no better reason than that. Like, we just have to say some things we don't do around here to make sure that we capture the real things that are going to end up causing a problem. This is why when you look at like old religions, they'll have stuff that like really made sense 1,000 years ago, but now you're like, like, why can't I blend fabrics? I want to say what?
Yeah.
Why can't I eat pork? I'm not sure I understand. But at one point, that shit made a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. This was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were like, yeah, I think it's an overreach. I think that, but
This,
to your point,
this
it
thing
just
is
gotta
stupid.
Yeah.
But it's only stupid right now in this moment because you are going to turn off your customers. Your customers are going to feel the way that you feel, which is you're nickel and diming me. Bro, I'm drowning. I am drowning. And so the right play right now is for a car company that's like, we are doing everything we can to drive costs down. We understand where people are at. There's an old movie from the 80s. It's absolutely brilliant. It's called Mr. Mom. It's about that moment where women first started really entering the workforce. And there's this great moment in it where she like comes up with this really clever marketing thing, which was, I mean, this is the early 80s, so we're still sort of dealing with the 70s hangover. We haven't got the economy back on track yet. And she says the right marketing play right now is to lower your cost and take a hit to your margin, because if you do a commercial saying to women, we hear you, we understand that you're struggling right now to make ends meet with your groceries, and so we're lowering costs. We're going to raise them again when we're on the other side of this downturn, but right now we're with you. And honestly, that really is brilliant. And yes, that it creates like a huge opportunity. This is why I'm literally, as a game developer, I'm going, I know people are very price sensitive with games right now. So how do I launch this for as cheaply as I can? Because what I need right now is I need players, man. I don't need to make a lot of money. Like, even if I just broke even for 5 years, I'd be ecstatic. And like, let me keep making this thing bigger and better and like getting more robust. So people will make use of those opportunities unless we shut them all down with regulations.
We shall see. We shall see. We'll keep monitoring the situation, see how other car companies respond to this, because Toyota's been the GOAT for the last couple of years. So I'm the number one person in the market to do this. I'm curious to see how that would change their position.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how people react, man. Xbox tried some shit and people were not happy.
Exactly. All right, let's go to a live home birth.
Yo, this is wild.
Just because,
wild.
I guess. I'm not gonna lie. I watched this video at like 4 a.m. this morning as I was waking up getting dressed, and I'm just like, this is not even good TV. Like,
no. So, admittedly, I found a clip with no commentator on it. This is the clip that we're making right now is brilliant. When you can watch someone having a child in their own home. Look, Eric is over here off camera freaking out. This is what I'm talking about. This is the best TV ever. Chat is in the background. You've got the woman going through the most intimate thing that you can do. There's an audience in the room with her while this is happening.
Everybody's covering their mouth.
This is like the human experience in the extreme. Like, this is incredible. I know I think I'm supposed to hate this. I don't hate this at all. Like, dude, I want more people to be like,
to give birth on screen.
No, well, I'm super open to that. I admittedly am grateful that this is not a full frontal, because that just looks like trauma. But it's utterly fascinating. So she's doing it in almost like she did it in like a sort of pseudo doggy style thing, which is like supposed to be, I think, like more natural and all that stuff. So it's like, already that's interesting. And then I'm like, yo, the streamer culture, like meta of it all, with like
the water
they've got
aspect
chat
of it and all that.
like up. So presumably she can't see it the way that she was positioned. So is chat for us? I'm not sure. But this whole thing is just utterly fascinating. And because she's like sort of a little bit off in the distance, I don't know, this really does feel interesting to me. I'm watching this as an anthropologist, I won't lie, but this is fascinating. I want to see people film whatever they're comfortable with. I want to have the option to join that chat. Like, this is wild. This is wild.
Okay, I want to marry this with the Hassan Piker drama right now, and just that general consensus of, although we're trading our privacy away in certain regards, it also feels like we're more transparent in other regards. So, and just the kind of the balance of the two of where that line is. Like childbirth to me seems like it should be private, but okay, I guess I could get the appeal.
I will say this. Let me be very clear. Everybody should have the right to make private anything they want. No one should feel in any way, shape, or form obligated to stream, record, even take photos. Like that's not what I'm saying. So hopefully people get that this is somebody that wants to share it. I don't immediately go to mental illness. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they've always got to be on camera. I don't know that person. I have no idea if that's their vibe. But like, for instance, I have never, ever, ever, ever had more fun creating content than I do doing these lives. I love them. I look forward to them all week. I am so trying to get to that third one a week. This is some of the most fun stuff that I get to do. I never would have guessed that I would enjoy it this much. It is very, very fun. So I get it. Like you really start to develop this sense of community of like, what are going to be the things that I want to share. So would I encourage Lisa to do it on stream? No, I would not. But that's me. But I don't think it's crazy or outlandish that somebody would live stream it if they are a live streamer and they've built that kind of relationship and it's a part of their daily life, presumably. So yeah, anyway.
Yeah. All right. This is Philip DeFranco breaking down the Hassan Piker shot collar gate that's been going on for the last couple of
I'm shocked how big this has gotten.
People love dogs, man. People love dogs more than they love humans. Like it's
I hear that.
It's a thing.
There's a lot to talk about, and in fact, you're getting a double dose today. You're getting this and just something coming out. So much we need to talk about today, starting with this.
It seems
Let's
low.
talk about this Hassan Piker controversy and backlash. Because while Hassan, who's a political commentator, often pops up into the news over a political take, this time he was trending everywhere over this clip.
But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence. Okay? It's the same reason as to why America. Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing?
Okay, so if you're not looking at your screen, here is the drama. First of all, the dog is just moving. So it's not like the dog was jumping on something, running around, making a ruckus. It just sort of got up. It was like slowly stepping off of its little pad. And so his exasperation is already strange, but he reaches for something. Now, maybe he reached for his drink. I have no idea. You can't see what he reaches for, but he reaches for something. You hear what sounds like a slight click, and the dog then yelps. Now, was the click the dog, and the dog's nails touch something, and it's just all this super big coincidence? I don't know. Philip is going to talk about in a second. He reached out again. Mad shout out to Philip DeFranco for actually reaching out to Hassan for a comment directly. I thought that was pretty slick. But I get why the internet is going crazy with this one in terms of it looks optically, it looks like he reaches for something, presses a button, makes the dog yelp, which then would make people believe that he's got a shot collar on his dog. And given that, he's going to show more clips. There's been a history of people complaining about the dog. But anyway, let's play this out.
You're being such a baby.
So that sudden yelp after Hassan seems to reach off camera, it's led many to claim that he was using a shock collar against his dog, or with many also now demanding that Twitch ban him. And then to back up these claims,
okay, hold on.
had people
He has said the most outlandish shit ever, and Twitch hasn't banned him. But for a non-lethal shot collar, people want him banned. That's wild to me. That does feel a little bit like our priorities are wacky.
In the same year, a wide receiver killed a person in the drunk driving accidents. Michael Vick was dogfighting. Michael Vick got a 3-year suspension. The wide receiver came back 9 months later. Like,
really?
People love dogs, yo. People love dogs. Like, once I see Mike Vick get 3 years for dogfighting at his house, he wasn't even in the dogfighting. It just happened in his crib. After I was like, yo, dogs, they have more rights than some people in America. Like, people love dogs. Like, love dogs.
What I don't get in that one is the discrepancy between the manslaughter and the dogs. The dog thing is horrible.
I'm not advocating for it. I'm not justifying nothing like that. That just sobered me up because my parents, I realized she lied to us once I got older, but my parents always like, we would get you a dog, but we're allergic, da-da-da-da-da. Then for like Thanksgiving a couple years ago, my brother has a huge dog, pit bull boxer, and my mom is playing with him, playing fetch, jumping on him. And we all stopped like, wait, I thought it was bad for your asthma. And she just kind of laughed like, and just like walked out the room. It was just like, oh snap. So
your childhood poofed.
Yeah, so I was like, I wish I always wanted a dog, never could get one, so I never had that affinity growing up with one. So that was the first public time I seen how much people love dogs, the dogs community, and how like people rally for it. So hearing him try to get banned, like I'm not surprised at all. Like
that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Here's what is that XQC?
Yeah.
Zooming in on the
Collar
dog
and
collar.
saying it's not a normal one. With other big streamers in the space like XQC looking at old footage that apparently showed the collar blinking. Others have also gone further back to find old clips of Hassan admitting that he owns a shock collar. So this also, as you had many noting in the clip, he says,
my old roommate wanted to use a shock collar for
I have no idea why this is slowed down, but
fish and his dogs. For fish and his dogs barking. I couldn't do it. I have it still. I bought it. They are incredibly effective.
I guess if you're on stream for like 8 hours a day or whatever, you're gonna have to eat on camera, but that is wild.
Shock collar per se, but instead how tight the collar is.
And now it's mainstream. I love her. I think her collar's too tight.
Yeah, well, it's here we get.
It's you have to be able to get 2 fingers, and I couldn't even get one. I think you're choking her.
She's like, it's she has a lot of neck meat.
I don't understand that argument. There's a lot of neck. Yes, she has a neck. That's why it's tight. If she didn't have a lot of neck, it wouldn't be tight. That's how that works.
So as a father of 2 doggers, dog arters, I don't know how to, you say it better than me.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Did this rub you the wrong way when you kind of hear it, or were you just confused at like the amount of like quote unquote backlash it's getting?
The duration and amplitude of the response is surprising because Hassan is so like outlandish with some of the things that he says. Like I get why when he talks about like you would kill whatever guy, Scott something, I forget who it was. I get why people get freaked out about that. I get why people would be like, bro, if you have a shock collar on your dog, like that's wild. Like you should stop. But I would not expect that to be the one that made it all the way to Gutfeld. Yeah. It's like on the daily, you could cover things that he says that I think are far more quote unquote problematic. But yeah, I mean, to your point with the shock collar, but I used to have a speaker system that would play like hypersonic sound. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, sound that only a dog can hear. Yeah. Because my dog was an absolute barking maniac. And so when it would start barking, it would play a high-pitched sound and the dog would stop barking. So it's like, is that cruel? We stopped doing it because I was like, it would go off every now and then from like a song playing on the radio would trigger it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's really unfair. Yeah. But it never made the dog yelp or anything like that. So I don't know. It's... he didn't kick the dog, didn't beat the dog. So I'm surprised I think I would never put a shock collar on my dog, but I am surprised by how big the reaction is. Yeah. I won't lie.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to get your reaction on something. Moving on into gaming news. This was kind of released, Discussing Films released this, and like it kind of turned Twitter crazy for a second, that Ubisoft reportedly canceled an Assassin's Creed game that was set in post-Civil War era. It would have featured a black assassin who was formerly a slave. Players would fight the emerging KKK, and leadership canceled it after concerns with the U.S. political climate and the backlash they received from Yatsuke over the Assassin's Creed Shadows release.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing out on the opportunity for a dope-ass game because the Yusuke thing was stupid. Mm-hmm. In terms of it's set in Japan and you pick the one historical black samurai, like, bro. Especially at like the height of all the backlash around wokeness and all that, just was a total fumble on Ubisoft's part. Yeah. But the idea of fighting as a free slave, I mean, this is basically Django Unchained as a video game. And I would 100% be here for that. That's dope. Yeah. So yeah, but so this is where I get into the millennial gamers and the things that they're really mad about. And I understand, and certainly as a developer, I think a lot about, okay, they do have ideas that I want to put into the games, like very expressly. But it's got to be things that people are like, yeah, this is dope. Like, these are the kind of ideas I want in my game. They also can't feel like they're being preached to. I don't think people feel like they're being preached to by Yoda. That's my exact model is Empire Strikes Back. I thought they did perfectly. So, or take, same thing with Morpheus. Yeah. Morpheus gives you real advice. If you take Morpheus's advice, your life will be better.
Mm-hmm.
So if people feel preached to by that, then I think people are going to be, they're going to hate my stuff. But that's the kind of way that we want to work it into the game. So millennial gamers, though, have been told you can't find women attractive, wanting to shoot and slash and kill and have power fantasies are bad, and you shouldn't want that, and you should want a bunch of women that have like a masculine edge and all this stuff. So that's like, you're really trying to push an agenda that goes contrary to evolution. I think that's super stupid. So I get why they're annoyed by that. So, I mean, look, you reap what you sow. Ubisoft has so put people on edge that everyone just is going to turn against them the second they smell anything woke. But I think that there is a way, and maybe Ubisoft isn't the studio to do it, but I think that there is a way to do you play as a freed slave and you be whooping that ass. That would be super fucking dope. But we'll never know.
And to your point of like shared narrative, I think if we can own the recreation of that story, that probably could help heal a lot of tensions. And it doesn't have to be woke. It doesn't have to be.
That's the thing. Like, there are ways to do that aren't woke.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't think people think Django Unchained is woke. Django, do they? I mean, is there some backlash against it that I don't know about? But like, Django Unchained was awesome, and took an unflinching look at slavery. But it was awesome. Like, it was such a good story, so well told. So you just have to be that deft at your craft if you're gonna go touch what is right now a third rail. Ubisoft is probably not the developer. Those guys have not proven to understand their audience. So I mean, maybe we did just dodge another super woke take on that, but I think there is a really cool story to be told in that space, as evidenced by Django.
100%. This next video is probably the most wholesome thing I've seen in like the last 2 years.
I got emotional watching this.
It really made me feel good. Like, this was nice. We need more of this. This is like the equivalent of a cat video. So shout out to Wolf on X on Twitter. They said, using what his girlfriend likes most, a man proposes to her with Pokemon cards.
You have to see this. If at all I can convince you to just stop what you're doing for a second, this one is purely visual. You've got to see her face when it happens. I honestly went immediately to the comments and I was like, people are going to clown on these two. And the comments were beautiful.
We need
now,
that.
It could be my algorithm just surfacing because it knows I'm sappy like that. But the comments were really, really beautiful. So if you can pause for a second, look at your phone, look at your TV, this one's worth seeing. It's going to make you feel nice.
There we go.
I want to see it.
That's right. Oh, okay.
And by the way, sharing a hobby, like my wife and I play Fortnite together a lot. It's awesome.
I'm not going to look. Did you already look?
No.
Oh.
So for those that didn't see, he opened a package, said, let's trade cards, gave her a package, and that's probably where he slipped in the proposal.
Didn't get nothing, so that's it for me. All right, you go.
Okay.
Go slow.
Toxel, sorry.
You got to look at him.
Pidimp.
Her reaction is so big, so fast. I love it so much.
And she literally shifted her like, okay, I'm ready to do it.
Yeah. I still want to know what the card said. But she obviously knows what's coming. Oh, you got to see her face, guys. If you're not looking at this, you got to see her face.
And I cherish all the times we've been together. And
I don't know why this makes me so emotional. This is so sweet.
But I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Aww.
Because you're amazing. Will you marry me?
Aww.
That's so sweet, man. Listen, life has got nothing better to offer you than love. I'm just telling you right now. Yeah. That warranted it. That was nice. When I saw that this morning, I was like, I feel some kind of way.
No, I'm like 100% in my feels. Can we switch over? And one thing I just kind of want to ground, because somebody said in the chat, like, yeah, people in real life don't use terms like woke and things like that. It's like, this is the type of thing that I think we need to push to the forefront more, is that this guy, I don't know, his public situation, but he's not 6'8". Doesn't have a six-pack ab. He doesn't drive an Andrew Tate car. You know what I mean?
But he's good with them Pokemon.
That's what I mean. Like, you're into this, I'm into this. I'm a Pokemon the shit out of it. Like, you know what I mean? And it works. She's excited. She's happy. And I think sometimes we get too caught up in the bad advice of how to do the thing versus like, what does the woman that you care about actually care about? How can you meet them when they're at and stuff like that? So
yeah, and man, look, this is dope. And also, I would like to do a quick PSA on sexual market value. So please remember, we all have a sexual market value. And when you are honest about your sexual market value, you have a chance at happiness. When you are delusional about your sexual market value, you're in trouble. And if you also don't understand the dynamics of modern dating, ooh, buddy. So hypergamy is real. You've got to pay attention to it. And ladies, I'm saying this more to you than anybody else. So you've got to be very careful. If you are competing for a small number of men because you were convinced that you deserve a 10, then they are going to not need to commit, especially not when they're young. Because when they're young, they're going to be going for variety, as many novel females as they can get. And so you put yourself in a terrible situation. Watch the movie A Beautiful Mind.
Ooh,
There's a moment in there where they explain a part of game theory that I think he ended up winning the Nobel Prize in mathematics for, of realizing if everybody goes after the attractive woman, they lose. But if everybody goes after a less attractive woman, they win. And the attractive woman ends up being alone, but everybody ends up with somebody. It's really fascinating. So these two, I would say, share a sexual market value. They obviously seem to enjoy each other's company. They share hobbies. And it's beautiful. I think my wife and I are in the same sexual market value, and it has always been wonderful. She has to deal with big ears. I have to deal with a big nose, and God bless it. I love my wife. And what's so weird is over time now, I've gotten so into her nose that, like, if a girl has, like, I don't know if you know Jennifer Grey. So Jennifer Grey was big in the 80s, and she was always clowned on because she had a big nose, but she was super famous. And then she got a nose job, and she was like, it ruined her career. Because all of a sudden, the thing that made her self-conscious, obviously, and she was objectively more attractive once she got her nose job. Like, it was startling. I was like, whoa, that one change and she looks better. And I was like, but now she looks generic.
Yeah.
And so becoming generic, even though it was more attractive, like ended up destroying her career.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
Really good.
So anyway, I don't know if I'm a nose fetishist now, but like my wife has totally, like, I so associate that with her. Like I just, I'm totally into it. So anyway, I've always felt that being honest about my sexual market value has rewarded me richly. And so, I found just the best soulmate you could ever ask for in the universe. As these two have, and it's been wonderful. And a great place to end. Boys and girls, thanks for rocking with us as we were away traveling here on Texas. Thank you for being a part of this community. Number go up on our streams. And so we are very grateful to all of you guys. Drew is pointing at something. Yes. Impact Theory University. Let us not forget that we have a leadership mistakes workshop coming up. So a mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make that really does cost them millions. I cover it in this workshop. This workshop has been insanely popular for us. It's this coming Tuesday, October 14th at 1 p.m. It's free. Make sure you join us. Now, this is for people. The people that will get the most out of it are people that are doing at least $1 million in a business that they already have. We do workshops for what we call Zero to Founder other times. This one's not for that. So this is about showing you guys that there is a problem in your business that's going to be more detrimental to you than your sales and marketing, which of course is what everybody thinks they need. But the reason that most businesses fail to get to even $1 million is because they don't know how to build a team. They make leadership mistakes that cost them millions. So it's free. Come this Tuesday, October 14th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I hope I will see you guys there. We've done this before. It's been insanely popular. So click the link in the description. Register for the workshop right now. And I will see you guys Tuesday. Otherwise, if you can't make it to that, we will see you guys next Wednesday. All right. Till then, my friends, be legendary. Take care. Peace.